It's your girl Mariahsincere, and I'm back with another bomb live. If you are new to my channel, welcome to our global community where we talk about traveling, living abroad, doing this expat life. With that said, guys, today I have a really good show for y'all. We are going to talk about dating abroad. And this conversation is coming a mix of really this conversation started, I would like to say, with the passport bros, but today we're going to have a more complex and nuanced discussion. Now, I'll be very honest. I myself don't have much experience dating abroad. Like, I had a boyfriend that was in the US Virgin Islands, and we dated for a couple years. And that's a US territory. And then here in Colombia, I dated someone for, for a good little time, but it never really went anywhere, to be honest. And I'm not the type of person to get on Tinder or constantly be dipping my foot into the dating pool. Absolutely not. But I have pulled up some TikTok videos, so we're going to react to both men and women and their experiences while dating abroad and see what they have to say. And feel free to chime in, give your opinions, tell me about your experiences. Now, before we get into these TikToks, I don't have an agenda here. This is for us to have a discussion and you decide, you come to a decision. I did not cherry pick these TikToks. All I did was click on them and make sure they weren't playing anything that was going to get me in trouble. So that's it. So I'm just going to go randomly pick them. Now, before I get to that, I do want to show y'all something that I saw earlier today that absolutely disturbed me. One of my friends on Instagram sent me this, and I just could not believe my eyes. Now, y'all can tell me if y'all disagree or if I'm wrong or y'all feel like I'm nitpicking, but I'm going to show y'all this video and y'all tell me what y'all think. Give me one moment. If you're just now coming in, please hit the like button. So we're going over to Instagram. Make sure y'all can see it. Okay. So this is from Pab Travels _. So it says, point of view, it's too easy being Black in Colombia. Now, y'all look at how this woman reacts to him, and y'all tell me if y'all think his behavior towards her was appropriate.
Hold on. Oh, yeah, she decent. What? Sí. Quiero aguacate. Quiero aguacate.
Aguacate.
Sí, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so did y'all see that? Did y'all see that? So he walks up to her and says, quiero aguacate. That means I want avocado. I don't know if that's slang for I want, throat or something like that. But for him to just walk up on this girl that he did not know and grab her throat, she's clearly uncomfortable. She steps back. Now, I'm not saying that she wasn't interested in talking to him. I'm not saying that she wasn't down, to do anything. That's not what I'm saying. But like, come on now, bro. Like, and this is the stuff I talk about and why a lot of the passport bros get so upset with me. It's not what you do. A lot of the times it's the way that you do it. You can't do that in America. In the United States, you can't walk up on a woman that you don't know and grab her by her throat. That is SA, sir. You can go to jail. At the very least, she probably gonna slap you. So, like, why do y'all think y'all can come to other people's countries and not only do that, but put that on camera? It don't matter if she's a working girl or not. And it don't matter because a lot of the men will say, well, they'll walk up on us and rub us down and do that. Hey, I don't agree with that either. I don't think anybody should be walking up on anybody grabbing them. But like, you have to understand that when you're coming into somebody else's country as a foreigner, you don't know the laws and you got to hold yourself to a higher standard. Even if she is a 304, Can you approach her correctly? Can she agree to you being able to touch her first? Can she get the money in her hand if that's what you think she's there to do? So, girl, hey, what's up? Good to see you, sis. Yeah, it was all the way out of pocket. And then when I say something about that, then y'all make it seem like I'm wrong, or I don't want y'all to come down here and date women, or I'm jealous. And it's like, no, it's the way that y'all are representing the people from our country and the men from our country. Because it's men that come down here that don't behave like that. But they have to deal with these type of stereotypes that everybody thinking that y'all lack self-control and discipline, because there are men that come down here and behave that way. And it's not right. And he posted that, like, what's really like sending me is that he posted it and he doesn't have the emotional intelligence or social awareness to understand that this was not okay, or it looks weird. That's a paper play chick that wasn't no genuine interaction. Come on, but yeah, it was aggressive. Because like, even if it's a paper play chick, you could tell she was uncomfortable. Like, walk up on her and start a conversation. Another thing that these women down here are complaining about is that a lot of the men are coming here and they're automatically assuming that they're paper play. And y'all got to understand, it's a lot of just good looking women in general down here. They like to dress sexy. So you can't necessarily, unless you see certain activities and behaviors, you can't automatically just assume that. And when that's another reason why I don't go to parqueyeras. I've been there 2, maybe 3 times my whole year's total that I've been in Colombia. And every time I go down to that park, if I wasn't with another man, they would solicit me for prostitution. And then I'll start speaking English to them. And then they'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, my bad. So yeah, let's continue on with the video.
Oh. Lo quiero todo. ¿Sí?
¿Todo qué?
Todo. Let me get your WhatsApp. All right. Nice meeting you. Hold on.
So she's gonna give him her number, so she might be going, y'all. She might be going, but here's the thing: regardless if she's a working girl 304 or not, this is not the appropriate way to approach a woman in somebody else's country. You can't do that in the United States, right? And then put it on camera. And yes, he's saying it's so easy being Black in Colombia. It has nothing to do with being Black. She hears that you speak English, sir. She hears you speak English, and you might have some dollars to throw at her. And that's really what that is. And I'm glad there are people checking him in the comments. Somebody said, your energy is real Epstein-like. Are you on any registries, bro? Like, the men are checking him. Somebody said, you got to stop doing that. The men are checking him good. And this is what we need. We need more men who like to travel, who don't want their name being smeared out here in these streets, calling out this type of behavior. Go down there, sleep with the girls, do the paper play, do all that. This kind of stuff should not be online. Somebody said you was finna get jumped, stabbed, robbed, and arrested. Another man said grabbing her by the neck was crazy. Somebody said, bro, that's choking right there. It's too far. The men are checking them in the comments. Shout out to the fellas. Shout out to the fellas. Yeah, I can make the video bigger. I'll play it again for those of y'all who just came in. I'm going to be quiet and play it from the beginning.
Oh, yeah, she decent. What? Sí. Quiero aguacate. Quiero aguacate.
Aguacate.
Sí, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah. Oh.
So y'all see he grabbed her by the neck, and people like look back at him like, what?
Lo quiero todo. Sí.
¿Todo qué?
Todo. Let me get your WhatsApp. All right. Nice meeting you. Hold on. Oh, yeah, she decent. What?
Now, if I was her, even if I was a working girl, I would not do business with him, because I would be scared he gonna strangle me or something. It's like, you already violating in public. You in public acting like that. That's absolutely insane. But y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Okay, so guys, y'all go ahead, please. If you're just now coming in, hit the like, share my video. We have a good discussion today. For those of y'all who are just coming in, we're going to be talking about dating in general abroad. I'm not talking about pay for play. I'm talking about the people, and I do mean people because it's both men and women who are making claims that dating abroad is better. Now, me personally, I'm a skeptic because what I know that I know that I know is that people are people and people are people everywhere. And pretty much the only thing that changes is cultural dynamics. So I have never bought into that dating abroad was better. Now, I do feel like it could be beneficial. Sometimes where you live or the state that you live in, the culture doesn't really mesh with your personality. And so that, you know, you might find more benefit moving abroad or traveling to date or something like that. And I totally get that. But I don't idolize dating abroad because I understand that people lie everywhere. People cheat everywhere. People run game everywhere. That's not something that is exclusive to the United States, right? What's up, y'all? Hey, what's up, Sultry? Hey, perception is reality. Everything good. Welcome back. Yes, y'all get the lights up. Hi, beautiful Mariah. How's Colombia treating me? Well, I'm enjoying my last couple weeks here before I go to the DR. Yes, it is. But if you're talking about Colombia, no. Yeah, we'll talk about it. And y'all feel free to share your experiences in the comments. We're going to go over to TikTok. We're going to see what the men and the women are saying. Thanks. I can see it now. Yeah, he dead wrong. I would walk away after he let go. I'm not exchanging nothing. I mean, honestly and truly, that girl saw dollar signs. So she felt like, I mean, in that situation, he walked up on her, and that seems like an easy lick right there. But, you know, some women, they think differently, girl. In the United States, and that's what I say, he knows he couldn't just walk up on a woman and do that in the United States. He would get slapped. He might get jumped. He might get the police called on him. And that's what I mean, going abroad and doing stuff that's just way out of pocket. You know you can't do that, bro. You know we don't behave like that. Or if you do, it comes with consequences. I would say Southeast Asia and Africa are great for dating. That's what I've heard. I've heard Kenya's really good. I'll say the closer you are to USA, typically more similarities will find to culture here. Prime example, Jamaica. Yeah. But let's get into these TikTok videos. I'm not gonna hold y'all. We're gonna get it cracking. Y'all, please hit the like button. Feel free to participate in the chat. Again, if you're just not coming in, I picked these videos at random. They were like the top suggestions. So I don't know what most of these people are going to say. I just checked to make sure they weren't playing any like music that could get my video demonetized.
I love dating abroad. I love dating abroad as a Black girl, okay? I want to express my feelings about it because actually, around this time last year, I was in Amsterdam, and a little bit before that, I was in Brussels, and I'm in Brussels again. And you know what? I don't know what it is. These are like the least likely places I would think I'd have a good time because they're known for 50-50. They're known for being like extremely liberal when it comes to that kind of stuff. And girls like me, you know, who are wanting better, higher life quality and all these things, typically you wouldn't think to go to these places, right? You'd be like, oh no. But surprisingly, at least in my experience, talking about my experience, it has been a blast. And, you know, when you are in environments where people like you, I mean, go figure, right? They like women, they want to impress you, they want to go above and beyond for you, which I genuinely think is the bare minimum. So when you hear me say that throughout the video, I want you to refer to my definition of the bare minimum, which is going above and beyond for me. Okay.
Well, girl, that don't really make sense. Bare minimum, you can't be bare minimum and above and beyond. But okay. So here is one thing that I will say, and I made a video about this. I do understand what she's saying, y'all. So like American men, I don't think a lot of American men understand that, and a lot of this has to do with the online rhetoric. Just when women are out and about, I don't feel like most American men behave like they like women in general. Does that make sense? So for example, I made a video about this a couple weeks ago, and I'm not talking about dating. I'm just saying just liking women, just as people. So like here in Colombia, if a man sees me struggling, he doesn't have to be trying to get my number. He could have a wife, a kids, he could have a girlfriend. He don't have to know me from a can of paint. But if he sees me struggling, he will help me with my bags or help me carry things and not ask me for my number. Like he's genuinely just helping just to be nice or opening the door just to be nice. Like they treat women that way who they're not trying to get anything from, right? In the United States, when men do stuff like that for you, a lot of times it's because following in behind that, they're going to try to holler at you. And if you turn them down, they're going to be angry. They're going to be upset that they just, did these kind things for you and you didn't want to date them or you didn't want to go out with them. And it's like causes a lot of bitterness. And then like even now the men are like, oh, we're approaching these women and they're turning us down. So what's the point? Here, these men will approach women and get turned down too, and they don't care. They don't hate women in behind it. Does that make sense? It's not going to be anything that ruin their day. And that might be because there are just so many options of beautiful women here. It could possibly be. One thing I noticed with dating as a traveler, it depends on what kind of traveler you are and your morals and values. Yeah. Because it's a lot of people out here that be dating real loose when they're a traveler. I like men in the US are starting to act low class. Dang, well, you got to come with it. That's why pick me has become a term. I think, okay, I see what you're saying. Personally, I get what you're saying. You feel like men in the United States aren't putting in enough effort when they're dating. I think in the United States, like if I'm just being honest, fellas, the brothers expect now, because of the online rhetoric, if a man takes you on a date, then at the end of the night, he deserves cootie cat. And that used to not be a thing. I think it's because of the economy. Things are so expensive. Maybe it's because the dates are getting more expensive. The men are like, if I paid, but my whole thing is, if that's your mentality, fellas, just go buy a prostitute. I have no problem with that. Just go buy the prostitute. Also, ladies, y'all gotta stop accepting dates from men that you're not interested in. Like, stop with the food man. Can I send it to your IG? All right, let's continue what she's saying.
To make me feel good. That's my bare minimum. Otherwise, if you're not making me feel good, you're not getting access to me, point blank, period. Before I go into the story time, I wanted to put this out there, okay? Every man is not going to be your husband.
Okay.
That's really important before I tell the story, okay? So while your husband is locating you, you might as well have fun and you might as well get some more dating experience and really determine what is vital to you, what you like, what you value, okay? And actually upgrade your standards even more, okay? Just because your husband is out there somewhere does not mean that you have to stay on ice, okay? Like you need to still be getting out there and getting to know people. Out of out of the sea of men that you meet, only one is going to make it that far with you, okay? So in the meantime, enjoy, learn, and collect your data, right? And apply it to the next guy, right? Like that's just how I have been thinking as of late.
I think that's a healthy mindset. As long as you're not out here sleeping with everybody. But I think both men and women should be out here dating people, getting to know people. Honestly, I think it's best to try to get to know people and be like friends, like casually dating friends before y'all even lay down together. Because then the problem with a lot of these men that I see that come to Colombia, and it's not just the men, I've seen this with some women here too. Y'all hop into bed with people too soon and they already look good to you. And now you're in a situation with a terrible person because you have emotionally entwined yourself with this person way too soon. And I don't know why people think that stops and ends at the US border. That's the same everywhere.
So anyway, there was this guy. I had 3 amazing days in Brussels last year, okay? And the last guy I met actually ended up being the most fun. And I had this requirement. Once again, my bare minimum is we're obviously going out to dinner, but what you're going to do is you're going to bring me a little token, a little romantic token. And something very small. It could be just flowers, chocolates, or both. Or just give me some type of present. I think it's really the thought that matters. And you are training that man to treat you in a certain type of way. And I'm a girly girl and I want to be met with flowers. I want to be met with chocolates, even though I don't even eat chocolates. Like I said, it's the act. And yeah, obviously you're picking me up and or sending me Uber. So I happen
You know what? When I think about it, I only had one, like a long-term boyfriend. The only men that have ever bought me gifts like that, chocolates and flowers and things like that, were long-term boyfriends. And I'm so skeptical of people. Like, if a man were to start buying me gifts immediately, like for example, I had a dude, he just met me and he went shopping and bought my daughter clothes. And then he was like, let me take you and your daughter to Epic Waters. That was like a red flag. I was like, you sound like you're trying to use my child to get to me, or you might be like, you know what I'm saying, a PDF file. You too focused on my child. I'm gonna find a reason to be skeptical. I'm gonna feel like, oh, are you trying to buy my love? Are you trying to manipulate me? Are you trying to blind me? But a lot of women like that.
to have a dance festival event that is happening in Brussels this year. And it really wasn't my plan because I actually thought I was going to be back in Amsterdam, but somehow, some way I ended up back here. It wasn't my plan, like I said. But anyway, I was like, well, that's weird, but also great because I know someone in Brussels and I'm still going to go on other dates, but like I have someone in mind. So I hit him up and I was like, oh my God, guess where I'm going to be? Like, how are you? Da, 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 right. Some small talk. And he's like, oh my God, I can't believe you're going to be here. Da, 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 right. I'm all for having a foreign roster. I'm all for having 10,000 boyfriends when you're traveling. I think it's great. Anyway, so I hit him up and quickly with the quickness, guys. Mind you, we only had one date. We met once. This is really important to like this detail is really, really important. Okay. You can meet someone and still be very like skeptical, like, hey, like maybe we'll do like a quick little date or like we'll just do dinner or something or we'll do lunch. This guy was like, no, I'm taking a day off of work. Like that's it. And then like we'll have
Girl, if a man tell me he's taking a day off of work to go on a date with me, I'm gonna feel like and you don't know me like that, I'm gonna feel like he don't have a job for real. No, go to work, baby. I'm gonna see you after that. I'm like, that's gonna be a red flag for me. I'm not gonna be happy about that. Y'all, this is why I'm single now. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to nothing I say. Allow these people to completely sweep you off your feet. But my antennas are gonna go up. Like, sir, do you not have a job? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Why are you so eager to not make no money to come see me? Okay, no, go make the money.
some time together over the weekend, like, like it's like, oh my God, really? Like, he's like, yeah. Then proceeded to take 2 days off of work. I was like, and also have the weekend. Like, I just want to spend time with you. Like, I think we're gonna have so much fun. Da, 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 da. And let me tell you, girls, I am a fan of a man that's eager, that's willing to go above and beyond. You don't have to take your PTO to spend time with me. Like, you don't have to. I mean, like, I know you're not my husband, but like, okay. Of course, he came to me with this really pretty bouquet. Like, it's all crinkled because of my luggage, but like, it's super cute. I love it. And of course, he got me like all the snacks I wanted. He's like, anything you need, but like when I'm at the store, like just let me know what you need, da, 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 whatever you want, princess. That's the energy that I'm on.
Okay, I get what she's saying, and I know that feels so good to get treated like that. The thing is, though, I would feel when a man gives all of that too soon, I just know you doing this for everybody else that you meet that you think look good. To me, it don't feel special, and maybe that's a character flaw of mine. Maybe that's something that I need to work through because I like men that have to warm up to you before they start doing stuff like that. Because then it doesn't feel like this is just who you are. It feels more like special versus like y'all know what traumatized me. There's this Yo Gotti song, And he was basically saying, like, all you got to do to get a woman's nose wide open is send her flowers for a couple weeks straight. And she gonna be wide open in her feelings. Like, I've heard men like give that kind of game. So I'm so skeptical. And that's why I don't get caught up in that whole sprinkle talk. Because on the other side of that, a lot of times what I've seen with women is after a couple months, the true him comes out. And men that are master manipulators, they know what we want and what we want to hear. So I'm not too impressed by this story she's telling me, y'all. I mean, it's great. It's good to be around a man that likes you and is being kind to you. But thank you so much. Perception is reality. Dates I've been on abroad, I feel women want to see what they like. I think you mean what they like about me. And the US dates I had recently, they looking at what they don't like about me. Yeah, I will say we probably are far more skeptical. Y'all see how skeptical I am? Like, I'm listening and mining for red flags the entire time. But here's the thing, I don't be wrong. Like, I want to be wrong, but I don't be wrong. I saw the video. I'm gonna get to it. I promise you. Explains why dating overseas is better than in the U. Okay, I'm gonna play it. I promise.
The whole moral of the story is, okay, when you are in environments and you're abroad, that's my point, and you are in places where they actually like women, they adore women, it makes dating fun. It makes it enjoyable. You're like, I actually want to do this. Like, oh my God, I'm being doted on the whole entire day. I literally arrived on Wednesday, like Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. When I tell you, girls, I had 2 full days with this guy. We had so much fun. And it wasn't necessarily like we were doing all these crazy activities. Just the company was so much fun. Successful guy. He was talking about work a lot, which I thought was so hot. It was really hot hearing him talk about all this technical stuff. I'm like, boy, I don't know what the freak you're saying, but it sounds hot. I love that you live in a nice apartment. I love that you have a nice car. I love that you are traveling for work. You know, it's just the frequency was just so my vibe.
No, I can understand that, because I'll be honest, y'all. One of the reasons why it was so hard for me to date in the United States is, like, even though I'm a skeptical person, I'm a positive person. So if like a man takes me out on a date, I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna have a good time. Or when we're texting, I'm gonna be like, I try to keep it happy, positive, and light. Y'all would be so surprised the amount of men in the United States who are just like mean and like bitter, and they want to argue. Like, they say women start arguments. No, y'all, there was this guy, handsome, tall, he had everything going for him, but he was so mad and bitter towards women. And I could tell by a lot of the things that he was saying that he listens to a lot of red pill content, right? But even then, I try to give people some grace, because I know that we're being bombarded with all these messages in social media. But it would be like every time I would try to have a good time, he would start an argument or just would be like, become so negative, and it was too much. And I'm like, dang, I'm trying to have a good time. I'm trying to kick it with you. And you want to argue, you want to fight. I also had another boyfriend like that, and this was my boyfriend that was from the Virgin Islands. It was like, if it was too cool, if it was too peaceful, if everything was too happy, we laughing. He was not happy unless he could create a situation where he was absolutely miserable. And it wasn't just with me, it was with everybody else. And I'm like, what's going on with all these men who, these are not even men who you would who should be bitter. Y'all have everything going for you. Why are you so angry? I just couldn't understand. So I do understand what the women are saying, where it feels good to go out with men that feel like they want to have a good time, they want to laugh, they're not mad at you, or they don't hate you for something somebody else did. I get it. Clear mind, better judgment. Yeah, for sure. Women are going to be women everywhere in the world. I mean, it's true. It's true. Just the cultural experience are going to be different. It's nothing wrong spotting red flags. That's cool. But I'm the prize. And this guy is beneath lady mindset is what I'm getting. Okay. I see what you're saying. Hey, what's up, DPTV 84? Y'all in these names. Y'all don't think I'm slow? Oh, that's so bad. Yeah, girl. And it's like, and I'm like, maybe it's a me problem, but these men be mad. They be so angry or melancholy. I'll say that, melancholy. Okay, so let's see what a brother has to say. Let me click this one.
If you think women in America are bad, go to Colombia. This is why I do not trust women, man. So when I was in Colombia, I was dating this girl. I get a DM one day from a guy and he's like, hey, I'm looking for this girl. Have you seen her? I'm her boyfriend. And I was like, yeah, dude, I'm sitting right next to her. And then I turned.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that, y'all. I didn't watch this all the way through. Okay.
To her, I'm like, yeah, Ness. She says, it's me sugar. Hi.
It's my sugar, like your sugar daddy? Okay, girl.
I was like, do sugar? Like sugar daddy? I'm over here thinking like, damn, am I falling for this girl? I actually really liked her. She had a boyfriend. She told me sugar daddy. He said boyfriend.
I mean, he probably thought he was the boyfriend, but to her, he was the sugar daddy. So both things can be true at the same time.
I didn't want to get involved with that guy, but he started blowing up her phone, tearing up her life. He really was her sugar daddy. She was getting like $48,000 a year from this guy. She was getting good money to do absolutely nothing all year, every year. And I fucked it up unintentionally. And I felt so, so bad. I was like, all right, we're going to do churros. I'm going to bring some Arabic dessert. We're going to do churro and kenefi. It was great.
Why you feel bad?
Not a churro cart. And then we figure out distribution's hard. I go back to the States. I come back with a bunch of kenefi. I gave her all the kenefi. We filled up a whole freezer and fridge full of ingredients. She eventually told me she doesn't want to do the churro cart. She doesn't want to work. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do it myself. It gets to the point where I'm like, okay, we're ready for the kenefi. You still got the kenefi? And she's like, oh. I'm like, oh, what? She's like, I didn't pay for my electricity. The electricity went out and everything in my fridge just went bad. You kidding?
She lying. She sold all of that herself. She is a lie. Y'all, the lies they be telling down here is insane. Y'all, they will lie over the smallest thing. And you be like, why did you lie about that? Like, what was the point?
Me? You couldn't even tell me that your electricity needed to be paid. I would have paid it. I would have freaking. Why didn't you tell me? No say. I trust issues at this point. Big trust issues at this point. They all just got sugar daddies. They'll work to get enough money in their pocket to survive until they have to work again to get enough money in their pocket to survive. Repeat. That is literally how they live their life. If you think women in America are bad, go to Colombia. This is why I do not trust women, man. So when I was in
Let's see if a man has something better to say. Okay, so this is an African American dude. Let's see what he has to say.
So I'm back in AZ. I am tired as fuck. I'm still catching up on sleep. But I fucking hate being back, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Everywhere you turn, it was a beautiful woman. It was like beautiful people. The air was great. It was like the food was cheap. You felt like you could do anything. You could go anywhere.
You know what I think it is? People fall in love with the fact that it's cheap. And I want to know where this man lives. Because, like, let's be so for real. Even with the whole beautiful people thing, if you live somewhere like Houston, California, like LA, Miami, New York, beautiful women come a dime a dozen. They're just not cheap. And let's be clear, the baddest chicks from Colombia, they're making their way to Miami. Let's be clear. These girls that are like super beautiful, these famous Colombian chicks, they're in Miami, working at somebody's club or with somebody, they're hustling, they're finding their way to make them American dollars. Gentlemen, don't be a sucker for love abroad. Keep your standards high for sure. Women cheat more than men. They're just sneakier at it. And I don't think that. Here, they cheat equally in Colombia. They got both cheating. They don't have to worry about a side ninja blowing up her spot. If I had a side dude, I would not, the way a lot of these men these days like to talk, I would not rely on their silence in 2026. He said AZ, I think he meant Arizona. So he said he just got back to Arizona. It's 100% a price range issue. They're not out of your league. They're out of your price range. Yeah, that's what it is. Because he's not an ugly man. He's not ugly. He probably just doesn't have the money. This is the type of man with his looks. If a woman, if he had a lot of money, a woman wouldn't mind. She wouldn't feel disgusted sleeping with him. Like, dang, you know, he's good enough looking for that.
And
it's like the money would be
on
about
my way back, it didn't really hit me until like now. But the transition from flight to flight back to Arizona fucking sucked, because you realize the change in energy. You realized how people became more and more guarded as I started to head from Colombia to Miami to Texas and then finally Arizona. The shit fucking was, it was just like, yeah, this is the only place I'm gonna get that feeling. When I was over.
Okay, I get what he's saying in terms of people in other countries being friendlier, but don't mistake that for them being less guarded. And a lot of the times they're being nice, but they're guarding. They're holding their cards close to their chest. And the only time you will see people be super duper open with you, so like especially somewhere here like Medellin, is when they want something from you, when they feel like they have something to offer. And that's why I say don't be fooled by the niceness. Are there people who are genuinely nice here? Yes. Don't romanticize it. Don't do that. Now, I do think we could do a better job at being friendlier and warmer in the United States. It does drag the mood down when everybody's walking around with an attitude. And that's something that even I've had to work on a day-to-day basis here. Just opening up and being warmer.
There in Colombia, I wasn't on my fucking phone. I wasn't flipping through Reels or TikToks. Yeah, I took some pictures and I posted what I could, but I went right back to living that life. It sucks, bro. The quality and caliber of people is unparalleled compared to over there. It is unparalleled.
What I want to know, what does he mean? Is he just speaking in terms of looks? Is he just speaking in terms of looks? Is that what he mean by the quality of people? Because I'll be way honest, and this is for both men and women. If you are looking for somebody who, like in terms of like morals, values, good job, successful, like if you're judging on other things that are not just looks, the pickings are better in the United States. I'm going to say that. Here in Colombia, especially like Medellin, I'm going to say Medellin, you will find beautiful people, but finding one that has a good moral compass and then also is ambitious and things like that, or that you don't have to kind of drag along, or that's very difficult. So I don't know. He seems like he took a vacation and he's still enamored by the beauty of it all. That's what it sounds like to me. Because if you're talking about quality people, it's easier to find quality people in the United States. The problem with people in the United States is pride. Period. That's going to be the number one issue. Pride. It's hard for two people to get together in the United States because of pride and all the rhetoric online. He said Arizona has plenty of beautiful women. Yeah, that's what I thought. So I'm confused. He came back home with a miserable attitude and people are giving him that energy. That's true. Now, I will say I felt that energy shift when I came back to visit the United States. And I was like, oh, But a lot of it too has to do with the people that you surround yourself around. Cause like, I feel like if I would have spent more time around my homegirls that are like super happy to see me, I wouldn't have felt that way. What's being warm? Okay, being warm, like, hi, good morning. How are you doing? How are your kids doing? Oh, can I bring you something to drink? You want something to eat? You know, those are things we used to do in the South. Oh, could we invite people in to have lunch or dinner? You know, just on the fly. If you act like a tourist in your hometown country, people will treat you better because your attitude is better. You'll realize the problem with you. I have to say that. Truth teller, Anon, you are so correct. A lot of the times you have to decide that you are going to be the thermostat, that you're going to set the temperature, because everywhere you go, there you are. And I think a lot of the things that Americans complain about, if we would just take the initiative, then things could change. For example, one thing that we complain about is that we don't know our neighbors. Well, go knock on the door and introduce yourself to the neighbor. That's what people used to do. They used to introduce themselves to the neighbors and bring them something to eat. People don't even put forth that effort, and then they complain they don't know their neighbor. You can't do that. Everybody wants a village. They don't want to be the villager, you know? Most likely everything with those guys is, yeah, it's surface level what he's talking about. He seemed like, again, he just went on a little vacation. There is no utopia. I will say in the States, it's the entitlement and delusion, normally the issue. Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate the donation. Yeah, what it is too is people will go abroad and treat people better that are not from their country, and then accept bad treatment and sweep it under the rug from somebody from another country before they do it from somebody in the United States. I promise you. For example, one thing I want to say, like a lot of the men that come to Colombia, y'all hear all the red pill content. We don't want single mothers. We don't want to date single mothers. But then they're telling the men come to Colombia and date. Y'all, over 84% of the children here are born out of wedlock. This is the land of single mothers. Because the men, a lot of these men, they get gone. They start having the kids young, they get gone. So you will see the same men who are talking mess. They're down here dating these single mothers, or they might have a single mother and her child living with them. So it's like, is the issue the single motherhood, or is it okay only when your preference is the single mother? You know, let's be for real. But when it's an American woman, then it's a problem. She's ran through. She's a hoe. She's undateable. For sure. Well said, be the villager. But on the flip side to that, I can talk about the women. There are a lot of women who will say, oh, I never give a man money, or a man has to be paying for this, this, and that. And then they get over here where the men have less money, and all of a sudden that standard no longer exists. Now he asking for money, she giving him money. I wish the hell I would. I didn't do it in America. I'm not doing it here. When men and women date, maybe the issue is they aren't dating for the same end game. That's true. Where are the wedding rings if dating is better abroad? I see more date talking than marriage. There are people getting married. Here's the thing. So I was on Andre and Andrea's channel yesterday on Love Crossing Borders, and they're married. I think Andre's, he might be close to 50 or at that, and his wife is 30. She's like an educated Colombian. She speaks English, working on her third language. So it made sense. Like, she was an educated sister already. They're married. I also know, I have a friend who's been married here before. He's divorced now, but it was a genuine relationship. And then there's a restaurant here in Laureles. It's a pastry shop. And it's a Black man married to a Colombian woman. And she's a good woman. She helps him run that pastry shop. She's a hard worker. And so they're out here. The thing is, and I was talking about this with Andre yesterday, the people who are getting married and in happy relationships down here, they're not on social media. And they're not making videos about dating and relationships. They're really low key and discreet. And they're not dating who everybody is promoting that they should be dating. So these men are not coming down here and getting the girl that has the Barbies with all the surgeries like snatch. Not saying they're not getting pretty women, but they're not getting the women that the passport bros are running after. Y'all understand? They're coming out here with a completely different objective. They're being more realistic. And that's what I'll say about that. But they're marrying the single mothers too. Let me tell you something, Romeo. Not only will they do that, I have seen men here take the girls off the whole stroll. They will get women here, move her in, pay all the bills, and like last week, she was just selling cootie cat, and he knows it. And then they tell the girls, don't tell nobody. Or they'll bring them back to the United States and tell them, don't tell nobody. But these men are wife and single mothers. They're telling the prostitutes, hey, how much money do I got to pay to get you to stop doing this? I'm telling y'all, this is what's really going on down here. I promise you. So all of that judgment falls to the wayside when they find somebody that just does it for them, either physically or sexually. I'm telling you, I've seen it. If people don't value dating, they will not value marriage. That's true. Those people that are married are also the exception. You know what? I don't think, I think a lot of these guys, what it is what you're seeing, Romeo, is a lot of these men are coming down here and they're young. So a lot of these dudes that are doing dating content, or, it's not really dating, running through women, they're young, they're not ready to settle down. That's part of it. Another part of it, then you have the guys who are really old and they never been faithful in a relationship and they ain't gonna start now. And they're just now having enough money to mess with the baddies. But I'm not gonna say it's rare. You just have to come down here and meet the people that's off the internet. Because you have to understand, men been doing this for a while. Men have been going to other countries, getting married and settling down for a while. The passport bro thing is what's a new phenomenon, where they're putting all of this on the internet, and it's just dating content. Thank you so much. Perception is reality. I would say the brothers that's into learning new cultures with his head on right, those normally in married or boot up passport, those the same guys who used to go to Houston acting a fool and still going to Houston acting a fool. I told y'all Houston is a sex tourism destination. Point blank, period.
I gotta go back to work, be around a bunch of gossipy, guarded motherfuckers, and then now
they be gossiping too. Now, one thing here, they will smile in your face and talk about you behind your back. So, don't let the niceness fool you.
Can't stop but think about all the women I done interacted that were actually fucking feminine. I come here and it's all I just see niggas in tight pants, niggas in dresses, and makeup. I don't even really see women for real, because I just know that at the end of the day, it's just a facade and I see right past it. But over there, they were culturally feminine, bro. They were culturally feminine. It wasn't something that they had to uphold just because they were female. They were real. This is gonna sound fucked up, but they were real women for real, with values. Not the values that you think you're upholding here in the States. I mean real values, the priority of family. And I think it had a lot to do with the whole culture that was there, the 304 culture. When you have a dominant 304 culture and you have women that don't subscribe to that, it's almost as if the women try really hard to distinguish themselves from that. They're like, no, I'm definitely not hoeing. You definitely can't hit me for $100. You know what I mean? They hold themselves to a completely different standard and they wear it very well. So you can't even be mad when you talk to a girl and she realizes you don't speak Spanish. You know what I mean? Because as a tourist, the assumption is you're just out there to fuck. You know what I mean? And it's short-lived and you're just there to have a good time. They're not down for that. And I actually got a little warm anytime I got turned down in that way, because I just felt like this.
Hold on, but here's my problem with this, and I'm not saying him because I haven't seen any of his other content. When American women hold a value, and this is what I say, people will romanticize foreigners and demonize Americans for the same behaviors. When an American woman says, no, I'm not a hoe, you can't pay me for that, or I'm not going to give you any coochie because you paid for a meal, then we're terrible. We're the worst women in the world. Or we used you for a meal. Or like it's all this stuff. But these women out here can tell y'all the same thing, and they can ask for respect, or they can try to draw boundaries, and it's okay. So what's the difference? Is the difference the delivery, perhaps? If that's possible, ladies. Maybe that's possible. You know, maybe he used to women cussing him out. Cussing him out. And we don't need to do that to set a boundary. We don't need to do all that. We don't have to go that hard, right? But you can firmly set boundaries with men without cussing them out. Those are the squirrel. Okay. Hold on. Okay. So truth teller Anon says the delivery matter. I think we could, because yeah, women in the United States, we are a bit rough. I mean, think about getting into an argument with a woman from New York. God dang. Oh my gosh, they so hard talking. They so hard talking. But then there's another part of it to where, like, if we're not firm enough and the dude continues to violate our boundaries, then people say we were playing, or we were too giggly, or we must have wanted it. So I don't even think women in the United States know how to navigate those type of social dynamics and still come out in a good way. Mm-hmm. Okay, you need to go to bed, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. This is my daughter. Good night. Okay, close that door too. I find that when I'm sweet with American women, they're sweet to me. I mean, that's how I was. That's how I was. And again, I'm like, are the men going overseas and giving the women the same energy that they're giving the women in the United States? Are the women in the United States going overseas and giving them foreign men the same energy they're giving the men in the United States? Who knows?
Aspect of self-respect that obviously isn't there here back home in the women nowadays, man. Like, you could see that they really set themselves apart. There's a lot of girls in the States pretend to set themselves apart from your regular hoe, but it's a big gray area, man. All these bitches hoes, bro. The ones that aren't or at home doing artsy shit or whatever, they're not in the mix at all. They're very hard to find. So I'm not.
That's true. The girls in the United, I noticed the girls in the United States who are not hoes or would potentially be somebody that would be feminine and catering to you, they're at the house. That's true. Because guess what? They not built for the dating market in the United States. It's too cutthroat. It's what y'all gotta understand about women that are not hoes or that want serious relationships. They're sensitive. They're very sensitive. All it takes is a heartbreak or two. It'll take them all the way out the game for a while. So they get their heart broke, they go inside and they sit down somewhere for a while. That's just the reality of the matter. The girls who were out here dating, they're dating, or they might have a roster, or you might hurt their feelings. That's okay. They're back out with another man the next day. They're built for this. You feel me? They have a lot of fortitude and wherewithal. Women are not having the father directly impacts her interactions with men. Sometimes women have the father impacts her interactions with men. It depends on what type of father she had. It depends on what type of father she had, what she saw in the house. So I don't judge people based off that. I judge people based off of the way I see them behaving. That's where a lot of good girls hide. They do. They're scared to get out there, scared to get their feelings hurt. Yep, we're at home. Yep, that's true. He's also carrying a lot of baggage. Men tend to get hurt by their own women. He doesn't have the same hurt with foreign women because they're new to him. And that's exactly what I was saying, Truth Teller or Nine. A lot of these people, they give grace to foreigners that they don't give at home in the United States.
I'm gonna paint every girl here with a broad stroke brush. That's not true. You know what I mean? Girls, it's just that they're not accessible the same way as they are in Colombia. These girls are still out and about, but it's reinforced by a particular standard, and they hold themselves to that. Even the areas that you visit, you can tell, you know, it's really hard to put in words and explain if you haven't been there. But God.
But it also don't sound like he's actually dated these women. And that's why I'm saying I would be skeptical of what he's saying because, again, I don't even want to say that. That's not right to say. I would advise this young man, if he hasn't already, to actually come down here and get into a relationship. Get into a relationship and we'll see how that goes. And then you can make comparisons. Because I don't think it's fair when people are just judging off of these superficial interactions. Y'all got to actually come down here and either observe the dating market for a long time or get into a relationship or be around people that are actually in real relationships. You will hear a lot of tea, baby. You will hear a lot.
Damn, bro. I'm back to the like I gotta plan another trip, bro. And all those lies about it being unsafe, it was complete bullshit.
No, that's not. That's
it was
how
complete
I know
bullshit.
This is why we can have a whole episode. I've talked about safety here. This is how I know he's romanticizing it. It's not complete BS. This is the problem with Americans like him. They think just because they went down there and certain things didn't happen to them, that it's not happening. And that's not true. That's not true at all. We've talked about this on my channel. Like, so, yeah, I'm going to get off of him because, again, he's not somebody that he came here to visit, y'all. He don't know for sure. He still got the rose-colored glasses. Let's see what, I'm trying to find another man. Then we're going to get back to the women. Okay, let's see what he had to say. The white guy.
Is Medellin good for dating? This is another very common question that I get, and it depends. It depends what you're looking for. Obviously, a lot of people come out here and they understand that the genetics out here are they're a little different. So a lot of people get excited about that. They want to come out. They want to meet people. They want to go out. If you're looking to casually date, it's a great place. Obviously, there's some dangers that you have to watch out for. You have to vet the people that you're seeing before you get careless or reckless or start taking them into places where you have where they have access to your things, to your computers, anything like that. But as far as serious dating, it might be one of the worst places in the entire world.
Dang. So he said for casual dating, it's great. Serious dating, it might be one of the worst places in the entire world. Now, I need y'all to keep this in mind. This is a white man with blonde hair, and I believe he has blue eyes. When a lot of women see him here in Medellin, they feel like they've hit the genetic lottery. Meaning, this is the type of man that they want to have children with. So if he's saying this place is not good for serious dating, that is saying something, because he's at the top of the food chain when he comes here.
It's very hard to find somebody that's worth taking seriously out here. That's for many reasons. And honestly, a big portion of why Medellin is turning into what it is now is because there's so many foreigners here and there's so many people that are here for 1 week. So, of course, if you're here for 1 week, you're going to go spoil somebody. You're going to go take them to the nicest places. You're on vacation, so you're basically just tagging them along with all these plans that you would have on vacation. But normal day-to-day life, you wouldn't be doing those types of things. You would have a pretty normal lifestyle. So if you're living out here long term and looking to date somebody seriously, there's kind of a weird expectation, because why hang out with somebody that's not going to take me to the best restaurants every single day and out to different cities and travel and this and that.
Fair point. This is not something that that I'm just hearing from him. Even local men complain, because you have to understand, Medellin is flooded with foreigners. You're not a rarity here. So if a Colombian woman, she might have a boyfriend who she loves to death, but he don't have no money, or he works a regular job and he can only afford to take her out on coffee dates, you know, where like not even like to Starbucks or Juan Valdez, like they going to the neighborhood bodega and getting a tinto, right? Like in her mind, it's like, okay, I love him, but I'm gonna still have these boyfriends that come in and out of town that can, you know, buy my outfits and pay my bills and help me with my rent, and where I won't have to worry. So a lot of these, it's normal here for a lot of these women to have 4 or 5 boyfriends, and they talk to them all the same, very sweet, very feminine, very polite. I mean, of course, here they have mastered the art of you catch more bees with honey than vinegar. They for sure have done that. Oh, yes, perception is reality. You said, when are you coming to Carter? Well, I don't know if you want to put your travel business out there, but when are you coming? I think you don't have your real name on here. Resources matter. That's an unavoidable reality. Love follows security. And I understand that, truth teller or not. And I feel like in that case, just get you somebody, because it would be easy for these women here to kind of find somebody they liked and just date one and depend on him financially if that's what they want to do. But they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. They want to have multiple. Here it is way easier. Y'all know how the women in the United States are like, I want a provider man, and all the men are like, oh, that's just a pipe dream. You know, you're looking for a 1% man and you're not a 1% woman. That reality is way different for these women down here. Y'all have to understand, Americans are flooding here. And that dollar, you have to understand, if an American man comes here and he makes $5,000 a month, he can be a provider man. He can, if he makes $4,000 a month, he can be a provider man for these women and completely change their life.
And get all these different things when they can just find that every single week, because there's new people coming here every single week willing to open their their wallet and spend a ton of money on somebody because they're on vacation. So overall, I know that's a long-winded answer. Overall, it's good and bad. It really depends on what you're looking for out here, you guys. Is Medellin?
A lot of these women here too have that mentality, and this was kind of even before these passport bros came. It's just a cultural thing. I think Colombia is like number 3 in Latin America for infidelity. Y'all have to understand, they're used to their men being such cheaters. So as a way to like adapt, their mentality is like, well, I'm gonna cheat first. That way I'm not gonna get my feelings hurt. Cause like they know it's for certain he's gonna cheat on me. So they view it differently. You're way more likely to find a faithful woman in the United States. She might not be as nice and she might not be as feminine, but you're way more likely. I'm not saying all women in the United States are faithful. I'm saying you're way more likely to find a faithful one. Here it's like a needle in a haystack, trying to find somebody faithful. I'll be there. See, and I'll be in Dominican Republic. Okay. Now, let's see. There's a woman on here. Let's see what she has to say about dating in Colombia.
So in case you don't know, I'm back here in Colombia, Cartagena to be specific. I want to talk to you guys about the dating scene here because I've seen...
So she's in Cartagena. Now, 2 different cultures, to be honest. Colombia is very regional. It can be very different depending on where you're at. Guys, can y'all please get the likes up? I would appreciate it.
A couple of things that are quite concerning here in Colombia. I don't want to say it's in all of Colombia, but it's pretty much, from what I heard in many parts of Colombia, the same kind of pattern that repeats itself. So I just want to warn you guys in case you want to come here, because there are certain things that are just a common thread, throughout the dating scene here. So I want to tell you guys about that and a couple of red flags you need to look out for if you don't want to make a complete fool out of yourself or just be surprised. Again, disclaimer, I'm not saying that all Colombians are like that. Number one is a thing that I didn't even know. I heard it mainly from male travelers, from guys that I met who told me about this. And they told me that here on the dating apps, maybe Tinder is usually the most popular. Bumble, there's also Bumble, but there are barely any people on Bumble. It's not as popular as Tinder. And when you're on there, basically every second woman is a professional service provider. So you never really know if that's like a normal girl or if she is a professional. And some of them, they will even have their list of their services on the Tinder profile. It is so funny. Of course, I haven't seen that because,
Hold on, fellas. Now, my fellas, if you've ever been on Tinder here, don't be scared. If you came to Colombia and got on Tinder, let me know something. So, have y'all went on there and y'all seen a girl's list of services? Now, y'all remember that girl Valentina I got into it with? She was promoting her tours on Tinder, and that's why they were accusing her of being, a lady of the evening, even though, I didn't see any proof that she was, but that's what they were saying, because she was promoting her tours on Tinder. Okay, I'll be in Ecuador in the May. Okay, I was just in Ecuador last year. You're gonna love it. Okay, I might be in DR in July too. Let's see.
I'm a woman. From the guys, like from the women's side, if you see the guys' profiles, they don't have that. But from a guy's side, if you see women's profiles, there are a lot of women who have that actually. And from what I heard from the guys, some of them didn't even enjoy dating here because they never knew if it was a normal girl. So this one guy, he told me that he was so traumatized that he would literally ask any girl he would talk to, because it's so common here. They tell you straight up yes or no. And even those who aren't, there's a fine line between those who aren't and those who are professional. What do I mean by that? The fine line is that basically a lot of girls are not professionals, but they will still do certain things, to their advantage. They will.
I had seen that. So like, I was talking to some passport bros in Cartagena, and they were telling me about like some of the women that they were dealing with. And they were showing me like messages of like these female police officers, like these girls with legit jobs, who was like, hey, I'm short on my rent right now. Can we, have sex and you send me X amount of dollars? So it was like, they're not necessarily on the whole stroll, but y'all know how it is, when that's what y'all know what I'm talking about. Like, y'all remember back in the day, let's be so for real. A lot of our mamas or some of our aunties used to have them a little friend, the uncle, that when times was hard, he used to come through so that light bill can get paid. That's the kind of situation that these men find themselves in with these women. Dating is what you make it, regardless where you go on the globe. Yeah, that's true. Been over 40 countries in the past 20 years. Dated and even got into relationships. Same issue experience in the state. That's what I be observing. That's different than having their services advertised on TV. Yeah, I would say that. I would say that's different. Because like the women, again, if a woman got her like a little uncle friend, her kid uncle, we're gonna call him uncle, that she calls when she's short on the bills, I think that behavior is a lot safer, right? It's a lot less riskier than a woman soliciting strange men on Tinder or on the whole stroll, Or they try to sell you solicited content too. Oh yeah, that's true.
Definitely take advantage of foreigners and make things for foreigners to pay for them and basically maintain them. They're students, they have a job most of the times, but they still do that, and that's very common here. So those are like normal girls And a lot of my friends here, male friends, they have girlfriends, who do that. To them, it's just normal. That's what they say. And this is a thing that is not only common
Yeah,
for
the men here their mentality is way more different. Like men in the United States, and you know what? Here's the thing: back in the day, it didn't used to be like that. Like back in the day, men didn't care if women were single mothers. Back in the men, all this red pill talk the men got going on in the United States, that used to didn't happen in Gen X day, all of that. You're right. So it's like here, they still kind of have that mentality, but like times 10. So like men don't like a man will have a girlfriend or even a wife. A lot of these with girls working in parqueyeras have husbands. They're married. They got husbands. All that to them, it's just you're bringing money home. Or so they'll date women who are single mothers, or they'll date women who sell a little cat on the side to keep the household running. They sure do down here. It's a whole different culture. Women in the U.S. are also more likely to divorce their husbands. 42 to 45% of divorces by the women in the U.S. Colombian women are less likely to divorce. Yeah, they're not going to divorce their husband, because you know why? They just going to go cheat. Like, why? Why would I get a divorce? Here, the marriage rates are very low. Let's be clear. They don't get married often here. It's very low. But when they do get married, it's like, well, what do we need to do? He cheating, I'm cheating. We all cheating. You know, they gonna go get their get backs. Let's be clear. You say, oh, they're less likely to divorce their husbands even though they cheat. They more loyal. You mean loyal because they're staying? Because these women definitely cheating back. They cheating back. This is the land of cheat back. I'm in a vine, Nate. Yep, it's giving that. No. It's different because they're in survival mode. Yeah, like the women here stay with their husbands more because it's convenient. They're more likely to stay with a boyfriend or a man more because it's convenient. Women in the United States don't have to do that. But women here, they'll say they gonna cheat. They finna cheat back. They're cheating too. They finna continue to cheat the whole relationship. They finna go. Women here will go F their man's brother or cousin and never say nothing about it to get their get back. Yes, they will. Gen X, when they were younger, some women were different. To be fair, American society was different in the 90s and early 2000s. Yeah, it was way different. They cheat in Colombia. They are wicked with it too. Yeah, they cheat bad down here. I'm telling y'all, they're number 3 in the whole Latin America for cheating. The cheating rates here are way higher than the United States. And it's not limited to men. Like, they equally out here cheating. These women will dog walk these men. And the Colombian men will tell you this.
For women, but it's also very common for guys, actually. So on those dating apps, you will meet guys, and they seem like normal guys, but a lot of them are also out to get, especially foreigners, and kind of take advantage of them. So you would think, the typical foreigner who would fall nasty old guy or this old woman who can't get anyone, and then they come here. But no, those are like young people. But a lot of times it's just
the young European white women, they coming down here tricking. They're tricking. These German women, they coming down here, overstaying their visas and tricking off on these Colombian men. Yes, they are. These Australian women,
it's like
they don't mind. They don't mind spending that money. They are tricking. I done heard some stories.
It is so different. So they get
and I
more easily because here they get the attention they don't get back home usually. And they play very much into that because they know that here they're much more affectionate. The culture is much more affectionate. The women, just as much as the men, are much more affectionate. And a lot of like Europeans and Americans are just not used to that affection. So when they come here, they're all infatuated, I know a lot of that because I've seen many things. I've traveled. Also, I have a lot of male friends here, and they tell me all about what they're doing. They tell me all about the business. Now I'm coming to the second point. They will slowly always try to ask for things. At first, it's not gonna be, of course, I want the newest iPhone. No, it's gonna be, oh, my such and such broke, like my phone broke.
Mhm.
Can you like help me to pay to get it repaired?
Let me tell y'all, this was like when I don't want to say when I first got here, but it was in 2024. And I had met this guy and we had started texting. And like within that first week that we were texting, he was like, oh, I'm having some problems with my business and I don't know how long I'm going to keep it running. And I was like, okay, what you going to do? And he's like, I don't know. I already peeped game. So this is what he did. This is why you got to be up on game, ladies. So what he did was he stopped texting me for a couple days because what he was trying to do was get me into a state of anxiety to where I would chase him or where I would do for him because I didn't want him to stop talking to me, right? So I said, look, I'm gonna text him and ask him, hey, how's it going? And if that's the first thing he bring up, I'm gonna stop talking to him. Because I already know. So I text him, hey, how you doing today? I'm just sitting here thinking. Thinking about what? And I don't know what I'm gonna do about my business. And I told him, sir, I don't give men money. Blocked. Blocked. These are the type of games they play down here. And the men will play it on the women too. And the thing with it is, this is where people get caught up. They're like, well, it's not a lot of money. It's like I can afford to give it. It's and it will help this person out. And it's like, no, it's about the principle. It doesn't matter that you can afford to do it or if it's a small amount of money. It's that now this person just sees you as a cajero, an ATM. So like every single time all the interactions are going to be fake. Everything is your entire experience with this person is going to be based on whether or not you will give them money if they want it or they need it. They don't see you as a human being anymore because they're in survival mode. It's straight principle. Period. But what it is a lot of people are scared to be alone, or y'all get so caught up in the looks and the charm that y'all don't know how to tell these people hell to the no. Because here's the thing. I can find another view or better, really better. So why would I do all that to keep you around when somebody like you who is a schemer and a low vibrational, low quality person is easily replaceable? It's 1,000,001 of y'all running around. You're nothing special. That's how y'all have to think about people like this. Try begging, yeah. They will hit you for 10 to 20 and they are texting about 15 or more people the same game. Come on now. We finna set the captives free tonight, okay?
Or something like that. Or it's gonna be something like, oh, I can't come today because I don't have any money for the cab. But if you pay the taxi for me, I can come. Or I can come to the party. I don't have any money. But if you pay for me, then I'll be there. I would love to go out and have lunch with you, but I don't have any money. But if you pay for me, of course I'm gonna come and have lunch with you. These are like little things guys as well as women will tell foreigners usually, because they're trying to take advantage of them and trying to get them to pay little by little for things until like it gets more and more. So that's a red flag you should also look out for.
And you better believe as soon as you start that, when you stop, they're gonna move around. They're gonna get the F on. And that's why a lot of people won't stop. Y'all don't want to get left alone. Who cares? Y'all got to stop being so emotionally invested in low vibrational people. I'll be happy when somebody get the F on for me.
The next thing is that they will love bomb you like no business. And I said that before that.
Just one thing I want to, a word of advice that I want to give, especially to the ladies. There are men out here who won't love bomb you or won't like. There are men out here who won't be like, Mor, mi reina, mi vida. Those are the ones that you want to start building a friendship with because they're guarded. Here especially, don't deal with men who are sweet talkers. Don't do it. And with women, it's, you know, I don't know. But what I will say, as a woman, the men with the most integrity that I have met here, just getting to know them and the type of people that they are not sweet talkers. And they don't be calling all their female friends more, mi vida. No, they don't talk like that. They rare, but they out
A
there.
lot of Europeans and just Americans, just how the culture is more cold, they're not used to that. So when they come to these tropical, warmer countries, and those guys and women just like love bomb you like crazy. They tell you things you probably have never heard before, or you probably don't just hear that much when you're back home. Of course, it's going to feel nice, but that's the point. That's the point. They exactly play into that because they know how to treat the women. They know how to treat the men, you know, for them to kind of like wrap them up into that game, into like, si ese gringo me paga todo. Like, ese gringo, si if I need a new phone, he'll just get it for me. Of course, it goes little by little. A lot of tourists are like, I'm not that dumb. I won't like fall into that. It goes quite fast. Like, I've seen grown women be with 20-year-old kids basically because they were just treating them like they've probably never been treated before, telling them.
And my whole thing, I'm not even giving these people excuses. This goes for both men and women. If you are a 40-year-old male or woman and you're dating a 20-year-old, what the hell else they supposed to want you for? Be so for real. What the hell else are they supposed to want you for? I hate it when people try to play brand new or act like they don't know what this is. You got 20 years on it. You think they're not sitting up thinking about calling you old and stuff, or thinking about all these generational differences, or what if I want to have kids and she not gonna be able to have kids, or I gotta have this old man jumping all up and down on top of me when it's something fine and young right next to me. I gotta miss out on all this fun dating this old person. Not, and 40 is not old, but to a 20-year-old you are. Be so for real. These people be knowing. Why do you think some men are attracted to low value? Because they low values. They don't want to be better. I've had women literally tell me, just lie to me. They didn't want to hear the truth. They wanted toxicity game. Wow. Quick question. Where are most of the English-speaking Colombians? Cartagena, I think there are more in Medellin, but then you also have to go around ones that are like, that's more, y'all, my camera's about to die. That's more related to hear me. Y'all should be able to hear me. I'm sorry, y'all. That's more related to social class. So a person that comes from a strato 4, 5, or 6 is more likely to have the money to even take English classes.
All the right things and just like being like very womanizer, and yeah, they're very good at doing that, especially here, the costeños, the people here from around the coast, Cartagena and everywhere, and then also paisas, people from Medellin, they're also very good at that. So people from Bogota are usually like more reserved, kind of more like the European type, but the rest, they're very good at what they're doing. Another red flag is that usually in Europe, or I guess in the States, it's the same. Like, you don't really introduce someone to your family that fast unless you're sure that, you know, that person is going to be your partner, is leading into something serious, or it is already something serious. But here, a lot of people are like, oh no, it's of course serious because he introduced me to his family. Baby girl, he's introducing 5 other women to his family, and they're all playing with it. They're all in that game. That's what.
I'm so glad I came up on this video because she's breaking it down. Yes, that is one thing. Like in the United States, if a man brings you home to his family, you're like, oh my gosh, we're serious. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is going somewhere. Here, it is absolutely nothing. They do not, like, they value family, but like in terms of that, no, that has absolutely no value. And again, they will plot, the whole family will plot on you. They sure will. Be smiling in your face, plotting on you, buttering you up, everybody telling you what you want to hear. And me personally, I can't even respect a man that brings me to meet his mother too soon, because I feel like you don't value the opinions of your mother, or you don't, like that's something to me you should want to safeguard and protect. So to me, that holds no value. Oh, I just met you and I'll come around your mama. Yeah. How many other women you do this with? So many red flags. People tend to ignore them on purpose. We want to believe the dream. Yeah, no. That's why people need to go slow. Be friends with people. Probably Bogota. Yeah, people in Bogota, I feel like, take relationships a little bit more seriously. The ones that I've met. Yeah. It's so different down here. And that's why I say a lot of Americans really are not prepared, because it's so culturally different in terms of dating here than what you're used to. You will get so gassed and behind how good they will treat you, and you mean absolutely nothing to them.
You need to know, because you might think, oh no, he introduced me to his mom, but no, this mom knows that he has 5 other ones, and as long as you're gringa, she doesn't care how many women he's with. So don't think that you're something special because he introduced you to his parents or family, whatever. No. The most common thing they would do is just date different people from different parts of the world. And whenever that person comes here, they're dating them the time that the person is here. And then when the person leaves again, they're dating someone else, like the other person comes here. So a guy could be dating like 4, 5 women, literally. They all come at different times.
Do y'all understand why I am the way that I am? Like, do y'all understand why I'm just not out here on the dating scene like that? When you hear stuff like this, does this make you want to get out there in that field? Absolutely not. Yeah, she giving so much game, and people are not gonna listen because they want to be the exception to the rule. Me, I'm through with that part of my life where I have to go through the game to get the game. I'm in that stage of my life now where all you have to do is tell me. I don't have to go through it. I don't have to bump my head. I don't have to learn the hard way. I believe you, baby girl. I believe every word that's coming out of your mouth. So I move accordingly. Hey, Solo Money Huda 4194. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah, you're moving the right way more. It's treacherous. And let me tell y'all, I'm not built for that. When you know you're not, I'm too sensitive. Do y'all understand? So I don't even play with myself like that, because I know I ain't built for real. That's insane. Yeah.
I'm speaking from experience. Like I said, he's gonna be like, eres el amor de mi vida, eres la única, no sé qué. No, baby girl, he has 5 other ones all around the world, and they all come at different times. It's all coordinated. The family knows about it. Everyone knows about it pretty much. So yeah.
Yeah, she ain't lying. She is not lying, y'all. She telling the truth. And you can see it. And a lot of these men here, they will get with the most basic looking European woman. I'm talking about look a mess. They will readily marry her because it's 2 things. She's going to come with the blonde hair and the blue eyes. Y'all know they idolize whiteness down here. So it's that. She could be a potentially good white the children. And then on top of that, she's going to pay all the bills. So that's a win. That's like, why would you not? That's how they see it. Thank you so much. That makes sense, Bogota. From what I've seen online, I see more English speakers in the DR compared to Colombia. Yeah, no, that is true. That is true. Colombia, English speakers are rare, but where you will see them is in the higher income brackets. You will run into them. So when you get around people that got some money, be careful when you speak in English. Okay, let's see. What is he saying? Now, here's the gay man. I know y'all might not want to hear this, but if I got any homosexuals watching, he's going to give his experience.
Okay, so people are always asking me about dating abroad. And guess what? It's a hot fucking mess. Just like it is in the United States, y'all. Hey, I'm Nick. I've been living abroad. You are going to respect me no matter what. Like, I do not tolerate disrespect at all when it comes to me or anyone around me. How pretty is this? So I met this guy like when I moved here, like September 2024, right? On the app. We were supposed to hang out, but he never really fully made it to that point because he flaked. And I do not tolerate that. I have a zero flaking policy when it comes to hanging out or anything like that. So he flakes. So I ended up blocking him. But then I was like, something happened with my grinder and I had to reload it.
He might have been married. I have a family member who is homosexual. So, you know, he meets people on Grindr, and he told me majority of the men that he deals with on Grindr are married men. So yeah, and that's not even just with Grindr. Even when you get on Tinder, a lot of these people that get on Tinder are in relationships. It's a lot of people that are already taken that are getting on these dating sites.
I know, I just said Grinder. This is crazy, but whatever. I had to reload the Grinder, right? I sound so old. So I re-upload the Grinder. He ends up finding my profile again recently. He hits me up and he's like, oh, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. Small talk, small talk, small talk. We end up connecting. Hola. My dear. We end up connecting again on Grindr. And child, I shit you not. This man tells me, let's meet at a bar and then go, you know, have relations. So I meet him at the bar. Mind you, he wants to meet at a bar I do not like. Like, the last time I went there, they tried to overcharge me. And again, I do not put up with disrespect. You ain't gonna try to overcharge me. It was like 300 pesos for something that should have been 30 pesos. Like, that's not okay. So then he's sitting at the table. There's a white guy.
This man has the mentality of a delusional woman. So this whole thing of you're not gonna, you know, this man told him up front, we meeting, and then afterward, we doing a do. Like, he told you what that he came at you like that, but you're demanding respect. It don't work like that, because a respectful man wouldn't even be on that with you. He'd be trying to get to know you. So you should already know walking into it what type of human being you're dealing with. Mexico is interesting. I cold approached a woman that turned out to be an AU pair in DC. We had relations for a couple months. She eventually revealed to me she was married to a man back in, Mexico is #1 for cheating in Latin America, both men and women. So they worse than Colombia.
That joined them, I guess the white guy that joined them had met them that day. It's him and his friend. And sorry, this is a long story, but trust me, it's worth it. And so this man has the audacity to get on Grindr right in front of me and pretend I didn't see. Like, what in the world? I am so flabbergasted by it. I'm literally right here, dude. And then everything gets weird after that. I immediately shut down because I'm like, what is going on? Why are you on Grindr right in front of me? The white guy and I start to converse about what's going on. And he's like, oh, wow, that is so rude. And so we all just kind of start being weird. Literally all 4 of us start acting weird. And they end up leaving. They leave. I block them. Done. Do not think you can disrespect me like that.
I mean,
and it's like,
what type of people do you think you finna find on Grindr, sir? That's like expecting not to find weirdos on Tinder. That, like, Grindr is like Tinder, but 10 times worse. It's a whole bunch of weirdo men on there. And so I'm just being honest. A lot of them are weirdos. A lot of them are married. and lustful. I remember hanging out with a family member and was asked not to post pics of them. Thought it was the male, but it was the female that was cheating undercover. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna do one more and then I'm gonna get to this video that we were sent. Hold on. This woman says, oh, I might do two more. Let's see what she had to say.
You know what I love about Colombians is how loving they talk to you and how sweet they talk to you.
Girl, you finna get your money took. You started off wrong, girl. You finna get your money took. Wrong, girl. Anyway, we'll let her finish talking. We will let her finish talking. She already started off wrong.
So my boyfriend's Colombian, and anytime that I'm talking to his mom, she's always like, "Hola, princesa," and I'm just like, ah. And then she'll be like, "Okay, mamita." Like those like terms of endearment, especially when I didn't grow up in a household that was like that lovey-dovey. It's just like, oh my God.
They play on your insecurities and they don't even know. Y'all gotta stop trying to find stuff that you didn't have in your childhood. It just wasn't meant to be. Stop looking for that in other people. Hey, Capo, what's up? Yeah, I'm gonna have Capo in here on Sunday. So y'all be on the lookout for that. Capo, y'all remember the one who I told y'all they did my boy dirty? But we're gonna talk about it on Sunday. Along with some other stuff. Ooh, hold on, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. I was eating and I choked on something. Let me put my other camera on.
It feels so good. I'm like here for it. You know.
Okay, guys, 1 second. Let me get my camera back up and going. Yeah, she's too giddy. Let me tell you, after a while, you get used to that. After a while, you get used to it and you don't care. Like it don't have. I'm sorry, y'all. Can y'all hear me? I was talking. Y'all couldn't even hear me. I'm trying to turn my camera back on. I don't know what's going on. Okay, I can't turn it back on. But anyway, lock in, Mariah. Okay, I'm going to do one more and then we're going to get off of here.
As I didn't love the energy of Colombia.
All right, before we slaughter them in the comments, let's hear them out.
I think Colombia is an amazing country. I think that the women are exceptionally beautiful, some of the most beautiful women in the entire world. But does that make up for the lack of safety that I feel when I'm in these places?
Okay, I'm listening.
My answer would be no. Inside of Medellin specifically, it's spreading a little bit to Cartagena, but Medellin specifically, there is a serious security problem. There are people in all of my close personal friend circles. One of my personal friends or multiple of my personal friends have been drugged or robbed, or their friends have been drugged or robbed.
I know many expats that have lived here in Medellin, Colombia for many years and have not been drugged or robbed.
This is the issue I have with people like him, the ones who are saying that there are people here who have lived here for many years and not been drugged or robbed. That's cool. That's your friend, Capo. That's cool. But like, that don't mean it's not gonna happen to him, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I hate it anytime they're like, we try to post and like warn the dudes about safety. And like, y'all, that's scopolamine. That ain't nothing to play with. Me as a woman, I don't go out. I don't be going on dates with men. I be weary when females bring me a drink. Do y'all understand? Like, I would be so weary to go to a female friend's house and she brings me a drink. That's how scared I am to get scoped. So like it's a very real concern, and I don't like it when people try to downplay it. And a lot of these men have gotten scoped and they don't get on the internet and talk about it. They're too embarrassed. Or they might have a woman or something else going on somewhere else, so they don't want to make a big deal about it. Lie to me. I love when they talk to me like that too. I like the love bombs. I know what's going on, but just like me, because I do the same and we all be in the fantasy world. See, I don't like all that. You know, I'm a Gemini. I give it to me straight. Talk fly to me, don't lie to me though. So that kind of stuff annoys me. And I don't like all that love bombing. I don't like men that are overly sweet when we first meet. Be a little mean, you know, not a little, like not mean, but take a little time to open up. You know, I trust that more than somebody being overly sweet. I don't like that at all. I never got cancer before, so nobody else ever got cancer before. Their logic, yeah, when it's insane to me. People with that "it didn't happen to me" logic are idiots. Exactly.
As a friend that has spent time in Medellin, that has unfortunately been subsequent to this.
Everybody, you say?
And it doesn't have to be somebody that, you know, you're going out looking for sex workers. That's a lot of the comments all the time. If you don't do stupid stuff, you're not going to get stupid prizes. But I've had stories of friends of mine that went on 5 dates with a girl off of Bumble and Tinder. And they go ahead and they get scopolamine. And it's like, well, how can you even prevent that? You thought...
Okay, so y'all see how he slowed that part of the video down like that was the problem? Here's the issue, y'all. In the United States, men are going on Tinder dates and Bumble dates, and they don't have to worry about getting scoped or drugged or robbed. That doesn't automatically come with the territory. So this man is voicing a legitimate concern here. That is not normal that you go on a dating app and you have to worry about getting drugged and robbed by women. That's not normal. That's not something that majority of normal women do. That's not something that American women are out here doing in mass like that. An American woman has, I say this all the time, in the United States, the women are the prey and the men are the predators. Now, I'm not saying all men are predators. Y'all know what I mean. Here in Colombia, the men are the prey and the women are the predators. It's completely reversed. So like the way that women have to think when we meet people out on dates in the United States, like sharing our location, giving people our address before we go, these type of things. When men come down here, they have to adapt those practices. But I would even argue that the way that they drug and rob men here is way worse than the way a man would than the rates of drugging and raping of women in the United States. It's like a whole different ballgame. OMG, I'm a Gemini too. Yes, girl. The segment. No, not girl. Hey, Harold. I'm sorry. The drug and theft, I think people should still be aware. However, I have heard it typically happens to guys there for tourism. Let me tell you, if you're meeting a girl off of Tinder, because a lot of men don't want to do the pay for play. They feel like it's more organic if they meet a girl off of Tinder. That ain't necessarily the same thing as pay for play. Or there are men who meet girls out and about, or the girl might approach him and she's pretending like she's not a working girl. So he don't know what the situation that he's in or what he's dealing with. So, I mean, you just have to be very careful.
You could trust this person 5 times that you hung out.
All right, so let me say this for the guys in the back. There are no good women on Bumble and Tinder. So when you come to Colombia, stay off the dating apps if you value your life.
Well, let me tell you, even Tristan, he just made a video saying that he wouldn't date Colombian women anymore. That's where he said that. I'm not gonna pull the video up tonight. I might pull it up tomorrow, but he said he wouldn't date Colombian women for a lot of the same reasons that we've already talked about in this live. Another thing he was saying is that they're too clingy and jealous, which I wouldn't agree. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I haven't dated him, but that's what he was saying. I'm not going to talk about that because I don't know. I'm not a man. Now, let me get to this other video, and I promise we're going to get off of here. So let me tell y'all, what are we looking at? Psychologist has a change of heart about passport bros after spending a month in Japan. So let's see what he thinks about dating abroad. Now, I'm familiar with this psychologist. He's often complaining about the relationship dynamics between men and women in the United States. And, you know, he says a lot of the same things that you would hear a red pill dude say. But we're going to listen to him. We're going to hear what he has to say. We're going to hear him out.
You have always been a storyteller.
But I now understand why it's in men's best interest to seek out the most advantageous marketplaces. It's like...
I do agree with that. I don't agree that anybody should stay single. If you are having a hard time finding somebody in the United States and you have done your due diligence, I was talking to Andre about this because there are men, we like to tell these men, work out, go to the gym, develop a better personality. But there are men who they could reach their maximum potential and they still wouldn't be able to get a woman in the United States. So it would be in their best interest to go to another dating market where their personality or their demeanor or maybe their physical features are more appealing. And you can't be mad at the men for that because what do people expect them to do? A lot of men can't, you know, they don't want to go without a partner or go without sex the rest of their life. So they have to do what they have to do. So I agree with that opening statement.
Regardless of whether you're a novice or a master fisherman, if you want to catch a certain kind of fish, it makes sense to go where there are more of those fishes. High-value men who have lots of sexual opportunity in the West will still travel to other places where they can get more of what they want more easily. That's not pathetic. That's rational and efficient. Even millionaires don't like paying more than they need to, even though they could afford to do so. And Western women are extremely expensive. Men.
I wonder what he means by high value men. Fellas, what does he mean by that? Does he mean like men with a lot of money? Is that what he means? Because I'll be honest. Y'all know I've been in the United States long enough to kind of see what the women like and what they really go for. And like the men, most of the men that are traveling to Asia or they're traveling to South America and they're going with the purpose of dating or finding a woman, these are not the men that American women are going for. They're just not. Whether they have money or they're not, I'm not saying they're bad men. I'm just saying they don't particularly, they're not for that market. So for example, this man on the microphone right here, he's not an ugly man. I'm not saying that. Am I attracted to him? No, but he's not, how do I say this? He's not a Travis Kelce white man. He's not that kind of fine. This type of man would do really good in Asia, where the culture is more quiet, more reserved, where the women really value white skin and blue eyes. He's going to win there. I'm not saying he's not a bad man, but whether or not a man is high value, that's really determined by the woman, or that's really determined by the dating market. And honestly and truly, a lot of these men that I have seen out here, y'all, they are not men that I look at and be like, oh yeah, if he was in the United States, he would be having his way with them. Have I seen some of them? Yes, but usually what it is they're not coming here to find a woman. They're like coming for like a weekend. They came on a boys trip with their homeboys and they might have a woman at home and they just out here to cheat. That's what I be seeing. That's what I be seeing. Men with money, but they're not decent human beings. Surface level, red pill, manosphere, foolishness. Yeah, like I need him to define what high value is, because I'm not really seeing it to the extent that they're saying that they're coming out here. don't get me wrong. I've seen some good, I told y'all, I've seen good men. I have some friends out here who actually didn't even come out here for women. They came out here because of a job or something like that. And I would definitely put them down with a friend or something and be like, oh, that's a good man. You should date him. But that's not the majority is what I'm trying to say. So I need him to define it. You get what I'm trying to say. Travis Kelce is not my type, but like to white women and even a lot of like black women who like white men, Travis Kelce is handsome. You know? What you want me to say? Then you want me to say Brad Pitt? I feel like that's setting the bar too high. I can't say that. That's setting the bar too high. I'm trying to be realistic.
Here generally have to pay more for less relative to other marketplaces. So I'm much more sympathetic to this movement after spending a month abroad.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. It's currently 4 a.m. in Japan. And I'm not trying to come back to the United States, bro. Bro, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Japan is just I'm not trying to leave, bro. And I'm not getting on that flight, bro. I'm gonna find a spot out here or something, bro. I gotta go back to Atlanta, bro. Like, what the we gotta do AMP shoots and videos. The new AMP crib in Japan.
Okay, so this is Kai Cenat. Y'all, let's be so for real. Kai Cenat with money. He has money. I don't know what if he goes out to Japan, them Japanese women not gonna want him. Y'all gotta understand, in Japan, they are very, very colorist. White is the standard. White is the standard. Kai Cenat would do much better staying in the United States. He done had bad women in the United States. He done had some baddies. You know, I could see maybe his money being able to get a woman out there, but like he would, in terms of finding women who actually really like him and like his aesthetic, he'll be way better off staying in the United States.
Oigan, esperen. Les tengo información importante. Nuestro bono es 108,000 sin depósito.
Hey, what's going on, good people?
I'm sorry.
In this video, we're going to be talking about a popular YouTuber who is a psychiatrist, and he's decided to open up and share his opinion on the passport bros. And it seems as if he has a changed mindset on passport men after spending a month living in Japan. So, we got to get into it and break it down. I'm not here to hold you. Let's review it.
I'm Dr. Orion Taraban, and this is Psych Hacks, Better Living Through Psychology. And the topic of today's short talk is passport bros and international dating. So this is a topic that has come up frequently in the comments of several of my videos, and it's a topic that I've been requested to discuss by many people over the last several months. If you're unfamiliar with the subject, passport bros is the collective term for a movement among Western and specifically American men who are increasingly pursuing mating and dating opportunities abroad. These are guys who are flying to places like South America and Southeast Asia and the Middle East in order to access sexual opportunities that they argue aren't available in their home country. And I'm going to respond to this phenomenon through the lens of my recent experiences spending a month in the country of Japan. Now, I'm not very knowledgeable about this phenomenon, but to be honest, there was always something about the passport bros movement that felt a little sleazy and pathetic. Without really examining it, my perspective was similar to the prevailing attitude, which was something like this movement was for guys who were too low status or unattractive to beat out their intrasexual competition here. They couldn't get laid in the States, so they basically engage in geo-arbitrage to leverage a relative advantage that wouldn't exist in their home country. My attitude was something like only guys who couldn't get what they want from women here would need to uproot their whole lives and travel halfway around the world, which kind of made these men out to be conniving beta males. That was my attitude before spending a month in Japan. That is no longer my attitude now. Having spent a month in that country, I think I better understand where this movement might be coming from. And I definitely don't think it's just for loser men who can't get laid in America.
Now, let's be clear. This is a white man with blue eyes. I'm sure he got treated like a celebrity when he was in Japan. Now, T-Mac says, I lived in Japan, not hard for black men to date there at all. T-Mac, I might have to have you come on and come up on here and give your perspective on that one day. I'm interested to know. I believe you don't. I haven't been there. I was just making comments based off of the rhetoric that I have heard Japanese people use in regards to black people. When I worked in China, there was a preference for white men. In Japan, some women prefer white men and some preferred black men. Interesting. Men today look at their dating life as the business. It's all congruent. What are they getting for their dollar, pretty much? Yeah. I mean, it's very much transactional. My whole thing is, though, don't complain about that. If you know that that's what you want something transactional, don't expect these women to love you. Or I don't want to hear any of the crying when the relationship goes sour or none of that. Or you go broke and they leave. Like, you came into it with an understanding. And that be my whole thing.
America. Allow me to explain. From the perspective of my interests and preferences, the quality of the...
And let me be clear. I say this to women too. You either gonna date for love or you gonna date for money. But you can't date for both. You can't date for both. That doesn't mean that you go deal with a broke. I'm sorry, y'all. This doesn't mean you go deal with a broke person or a broke man. But if you're out here hunting for a high dollar man, a man that has a lot of money, then you have to know that's what you're going into that for. Don't be expecting love and commitment out of the situation when the most important thing to you was the dollar. That's how I feel with all people who seek out transactional arrangements. Keep your feelings out of the situation because I don't want to hear about it later on. I traveled to Asia a lot. I was an aerospace exec and my customers were in China and Japan. They did distinguish between African men and Black American men. I was treated well in both spaces. That's good. They treated Africans poorly in Japan and China, unfortunately. That's what I've seen.
Women in Japan was significantly superior to the quality of the women in the Bay Area. Like, not by a little, by orders of magnitude. Let me break down some of the various factors that go into that statement. Mm-hmm. First of all, the women in Japan are slender and physically healthy.
Yeah, we definitely know that's true. And that's one thing that I noticed in Thailand as well. Oh, yes, that part. Now I know he definitely took notice overseas.
I spent a month in some of the largest cities in the world, and I must have seen 10 overweight women in that entire time, half of whom were little old ladies. And these overweight women weren't morbidly obese. They were like plump, maybe 20 or 30 pounds overweight max. Mm-hmm. Most Western women literally couldn't buy clothes in Japan. The vast majority of Japanese women are slender and physically fit, which is appealing because it's not only attractive, but it indicates a compatible value as well. Like, I want people who care about their health. Second, these women are feminine. They wear dresses and heels and makeup. They tend to dress more conservatively than Western women. No tight clothes, no showing a lot of skin. The feminine ideal there seems to be like softly elegant, flowing and modest and dignified. And these aren't 1950s housewives. These are women who, for the most part, are working professionals. They have modern ideas. They are educated and accomplished, but they haven't thrown out more traditional conceptualizations of female beauty. This is not something you can easily find in the West anymore.
No, I will kind of like, I'm gonna have to agree with some of what he's saying. Like, well, first of all, here's the thing. In a lot of these countries where the culture is more homogenous, they don't really experiment with their looks that much. Versus like in the United States, I feel like we blur the lines. We have more experimentation with clothing and the way that we dress ourselves. So you do have those women who like wear a lot of dresses and makeup, but then you also have the majority of women that prefer to wear things like jeans and leggings. And I will say, even like being here in Colombia, the women wear like a lot of jeans. But I will say you will see more dresses. Like here in Medellin, they wear a lot of jeans and sneakers, but you also will see more women on average wearing dresses. But yeah, I mean, I guess I could see. I think that's like a matter of preference. Even with the weight thing, I do think we've kind of taken it overboard in the United States with the whole fat acceptance thing. And I think that was a backlash to what was going on in the early 2000s, where they were basically encouraging women to like not eat. Anybody could get it in the 2000s. Like, y'all remember when they were calling Beyonce fat? And all she had was a big booty, and they were calling her fat. And then she went and got liposuction. So I think too, it needs to be said that those women are smaller and tinier. Like even here in Medellin, I'm like so tall compared to these women. I think that's like a matter of preference too, because like if you go to the American South, the average man in the American South is not going to be attracted to a Japanese woman or a Chinese woman. The type of Asian women that a man in the American South is going to like is going to be like a thick Vietnamese woman, you know, who maybe she was raised around Black people and she been eating good and she got some ass. So this is a white man. He's going to see it differently. They have a different cultural standard. So I think that would just depend. I think there's a reason why a lot of the Black American men are coming down to Latin America, particularly places like Colombia and the DR, and they're not really going as much to a place like Japan. They like women with hips and booty and stuff like that. You know, it's just a different standard. Him speaking about someone's appearance is laughable. You know what? This is what I will say. This always confused me about a lot of men. And I want to ask the fellas in the chat, do y'all think that women don't care about looks? Because I'll see men that look like this, and I'm not calling him ugly, but like men like this, their standards be so high. But like attractive people want to date attractive people. Beautiful women would prefer to go be with a man that's on her looks level and has money. That's just the reality. But when she can't find that, she'll just settle for the dude that got money. But like I want to know, where does that sense of entitlement to be a man that's like that looks like this and he thinks he deserves like a 10 out of 10 woman in looks? Where does that come from? I'm trying to understand.
And you can't find it at all in the Bay Area, at all. And I find feminine women very attractive. It resonates with me and inspires me to be even more masculine. Third, the women in Japan are extremely respectful. Every woman I interacted with there was extremely warm and friendly. They were receptive to conversation, and they seemed to enjoy, or at least very effectively pretended to enjoy, speaking with me. Even more, they were solicitous about my feelings and seemed concerned that I should enjoy the interaction as well.
Okay, ladies. Tomorrow morning,
I'm sorry,
we're
y'all.
starting the Kundalini awakening.
Japanese women are very feminine. They're very demure. They're very modest. They're not combative. They're not trashy. They're not outspoken and loud and obnoxious. They are very honorable women in the sense that they don't just do something and think like, oh, what is this effect going to have on me? They think, oh, what is this going to make my dad look like? What is this going to make my mom look like? What is this going to make my grandma look like? So that's a really good girl to have around, a woman that considers what her actions are going to affect not only her, but everybody around her.
I didn't experience a single indifferent or disrespectful word, tone, or glance from a woman in a month. This made approaching and talking to women in Japan a much less fraught experience than it is in the US. The women I spoke to seemed to take pleasure in the attention and in the dialogue. Nothing about the interaction indicated that they were annoyed.
So this is what, because let's be clear, women don't want every man talking to them. So what do men expect? I want to know. Y'all tell me in the chat. So if you're talking with a woman and she doesn't want to talk to you, do men expect us to pretend like we want to talk to them or that we're enjoying the conversation? Do y'all want us to like pretend? Because my issue with that is then when the interaction leads to you feeling comfortable enough to asking us for our number, or we say no, or we give you the number and then we don't text back, you're going to be feeling frustrated and led on. And that's why, I mean, I'm never mean to men who try to talk to me and I'm not interested, but I definitely do my best not to lead the situation on or to figure out a way to cut the conversation short. And like the way he sang it, like I get it, but to me, there's like a sense of entitlement to the conversation. And it's like if women are not carrying on conversations that they don't really want to have, then they're mistreating the men. Or, you know, it's like, what if these women didn't really want to talk to him? They were just being polite because in their society, they're supposed to be polite. When in the United States, our culture is a lot more free. We don't have to fake if we don't want to fake. Women can just be who they want to be. We can engage in the conversations that we want to engage in or not. What I will say is I don't agree with women fronting men out. So like if a man comes to talk to you and you're not interested, I think a simple "I'm not interested" will suffice. But you don't have to. And a lot of women do try to skirt around men's feelings and lie and say, I have a boyfriend or I'm married. And, you know, women in the West try. I know y'all think that we don't, but we do. So y'all tell me, do y'all think that women are supposed to entertain conversations with any man? Here's another thing. I think men don't think about it from this perspective, but I want y'all to hear me out. Especially if you're a woman that's any kind of attractive and you're trying to get things done throughout the day. You will have several men approaching you throughout the day to talk to you. A lot of the times when you're in the middle of doing something. Should we be expected to spend time entertaining every single one of those conversations? And how realistic is it then that we would be able to go about our day and get the things done that we need to get done? And men don't think about that. They don't think about that at all. It's y'all want us to be fit, feminine, and friendly and enjoy talking to all of y'all. But y'all don't think about the sheer numbers. And y'all don't actually think about the amount of time that is required of the woman to spend on those interactions with men that she ultimately doesn't want to deal with after that interaction. It's a waste of time. It really is. So I get what he's trying to say. It feels nice for women to, you know, care about and want to talk to him. I'm glad they had the time to do that. It helped him feel seen. But like realistically, me personally, y'all, I don't want to entertain the conversations with all these men that come up and talk to me throughout the day. I would rather just politely figure out a way to get out of the conversation. You know, that's me. Some dudes don't care and go ham on everything. Yeah. I always tell men only pursue women that give you choosing signals, meaning it's obvious she likes you. I would agree with that. I was salsa dancing instructor part-time, so I had no trouble dating in that circle. Salsa dancing was big in Japan, and ex-girlfriend taught in Roppongi. She learned in Cuba. Father was diplomat. I know that's right. He's just talking about women being polite and having conversations with him out and about, from what I've gathered so far.
Were offended that I was interested in talking to them.
That is true as well. I lived in Tokyo for just under a year. The whole time I was out there, I noticed that the women was very friendly, very accommodating. But the only thing about Japanese women, I would say they are very shy. You know, traditional Japanese women. As a man, you cannot approach them very aggressively. You gotta, I hate to say it like this, you literally have to approach Japanese women as if you're talking to a teenage young girl. No creepy vibes or no, I'm just saying you have to be a gentleman when you first approach Japanese women. That's one thing I did notice out there.
欧米の男性と付き合ってみたいと思ったことありますか？
あります。アメリカ人と。
アメリカ人。
アメリカ人。
どうしてアメリカ人？
いや、アメリカに行ってみたいと思ったし、超紳士的じゃないですか。しかもイケメンだし。
実際に欧米の男性と付き合うってなった時に、懸念点としてありますか？
喋れないから言葉が通じない。
Fourth, while a kind of chivalry exists in Japan, it's an inverted version of what we have here. In Japan, men come first, women come second. It's difficult to appreciate how deeply the romantic ideology permeates our manners until you go to a...
Yeah, baby. Dealing with a chick like me, yeah, you're going to have to go to Japan. You're going to have to go to Japan because, sir, I understand. Go over there. Go over there. And this is the thing about women in the West. As soon as we hear stuff like that, we really don't care. Go over there. I know men got hated because it's not in your best interest. But like, you have to think about it. Like, I'm somebody that has like goals and dreams and aspirations. And no, I'm considerate of other people. Like, I would be considerate of a man in his goals and dreams, the things he wants to do in his time. So I personally feel like in a respectful relationship, people would be considerate of others. It wouldn't be this mentality of the man comes first or the woman comes first or anything like that. Relationships have to be fluid, dynamic, and both parties have to be considerate of each other. And like me personally, I'm not interested, nor do I feel like it's a loss if a man feels like he doesn't want to date me because he doesn't come first in my life. Really, it sounded like a lot of additional work. It sounded like a lot of me putting myself aside that I don't want to do. So I will happily encourage you to go where you can find that. That's my mentality. I'm sorry. I would rather find somebody that's more egalitarian in their thinking and is considerate of me in the way that I'm considerate of them as well, and is understanding of me in the way that I'm understanding of them, and doesn't feel a sense of entitlement. And just in the way that I wouldn't feel a sense of entitlement over them. I know that's difficult to find. That's why I'm single, y'all. I know full well why I'm single. I know full well if I wanted to have a man, y'all, all I had to do is put myself last and cater to his every whim. And I know how to do it. I just don't want to. I don't want to. And I think that's the thing with most Western women. They just don't want to. Versus in Japan, they have a little bit more of a cultural standard because they have a culture of saving face and not bringing shame to your family. So it's like the woman's choices aren't really just for her. It's for her mother and her father and everybody else involved in the situation. And we just don't have that same cultural standard in the United States for women or men. And honestly, I think it's an amazing thing. I think it's very freeing. I think it's the wrong view to have to think of it as the wrong thing. The thing is, what are you going to do with the freedom? Are you going to be responsible with it? I have to say, it's the biracial American men who went to Colombia. Biracial mixed Colombian women are more attractive than biracial American women. Okay. Prime example, when I lived in Dallas, some of the women at the time in the streets was friendlier, cooler than Los Angeles, even when, Dallas chicks are cool. Native Dallas chicks are, we cool. I'm from Dallas. Understand, just racism or prejudice may exist in certain areas doesn't mean the women feel like that. Mostly that's coming from the men in that area. because you're taking their women. It's possible, Harold. That's possible that you are absolutely correct. Might be. Okay. Here's this. I'm gonna address this and then I'm gonna block you because it's clear that you only came in here to talk shit. Yeah, what do locals get in return? They don't want women from USA. They are damaged good. Every American woman that I know that has come down here to Colombia and they wanted a man and they were willing to do what it takes to, like, whatever it was, maintain that relationship, whatever the case may be, they have a man. They have a man. These men down here are interested in dating American women or European women, and will genuinely like you. You do have your users, and then you have the ones that are like dating these women because they like these women. I'm the only one that I know that don't got a man, and it's absolutely my fault, and I'm okay with it. I own it. So all of this talk about local men, every woman that I know that moves abroad, she finds a man abroad. She does. So that's just insane. It's kind of like this. The same way that y'all come down here and these women are exotic to y'all, American women are exotic to these men down here. You have to understand that. They're curious, all of that. But I'm going to ban you.
Completely different culture. For instance, one day I was walking towards the main entrance of a building at pretty much the same time as a woman. My natural instinct was to get there first and hold the door open for her. However, when I did so, she refused to walk through it, making a show of great embarrassment. And I later realized that in that culture, it would have been embarrassing for her if I had allowed myself to disrespect myself in that way for her sake.
I love the way he broke that down. I've heard of that before out there in Asian countries, but I didn't get the concept of it. But he just broke it down good right there. Foreign women want masculine men. They really don't want simp beta male men. They want a man to remain in his masculine frame.
Still doing everything manually in Excel? Let me show you the smarter way. This course turns every lesson into quick, practical.
And I later realized that in that culture, it would have been embarrassing for her if I had allowed myself to disrespect myself in that way for her sake. Another example. Many years ago, I spent some weeks in Japan studying Buto dance in an immersive program. The first night of the program, at the General Assembly, we heard a long speech on how the organizers miscalculated the number of futons they needed for the students. Apparently, there would not be enough beds for everyone, so the women would have to sleep on the bare floor without cushions or sheets until the problem was rectified. Now, there were a couple other Westerners in the audience, and I remember we were just looking at each other in disbelief. To say we were shocked.
So he thinks that's the positive thing. Now, here's the thing. I'm sorry, y'all. This is the way he's praising this. I can't get with it. I really can't get with it. Here's the thing. In that culture, women are beneath men. That's not a positive thing, right? And like, as a Western man raised in Western values, you should really not be comfortable with the men getting the futons and the women sleeping on the floor. Much in the same way as I wouldn't be comfortable as a woman sleeping on a futon and my child sleeping on the floor. I'm giving my child the futon. And I don't see nothing wrong with that. So, like, when I'm hearing him brag about stuff like this, I'm like, sir, yeah, you need to go over there. That's where you need to stay. Because I don't know what Western woman would be happy to date a man with the mentality like this. He is just so amazed. Like, this is something so amazing when a true masculine man would just be like, no, I wasn't really feeling that. I wasn't really comfortable with all that.
Shocked would not be an understatement. The idea that the women were going to sleep on the ground while the men were going to sleep in the beds felt completely unnatural to us.
It should have.
However, our way of doing things is just as unnatural to Japanese sensibilities.
I'm sure it is. That's why they over there and we over here.
That's starting to change more and more as Western ideologies continue to infiltrate Japanese society. But the important thing here is to understand that a lot of what many people believe to be the natural dynamic between men and women is really very culturally bounded and culturally specific. And to be honest, it felt good to be honored for being a man. Like, it's not a bad thing to be a man.
It's not a bad thing to be a man, but like, am I more masculine than this man right here? Because I'm not seeing it. Like, I'm going to make my child's plate before I feed me. Because she's like the weaker person. Like, I wouldn't feel right. And nor would I feel honored to eat before her and her like, it's just the way that he's talking. I just can't wrap my mind around it. And again, maybe that is our cultural values. T-Mac says, I'm not saying it's positive, but women in Japan are treated more like second class. I treated my ex-girlfriend equally, and she did not like it when I did not tell her what to do. It is different. I think that dating over there is for a man that, like, if you want all the control in a relationship, and you don't want a woman to stand up for herself, or you don't want a woman that is going to, like, hold you to this Western standard, I think it is good. You should go over there to a country like that. You should. I will hope that the men who are going over there would treat these women right. The red pill response to that, Mariah, is, well, if women play their role, men will be chivalrous. If women aren't acting like ladies, don't treat them like ladies. But what do you mean acting like a lady? Y'all got to define that. Because I want the men to define what is acting like a lady. Because to me just being polite to you is enough. I'm not required to do anything outside of that. So, like, what is acting like a lady? Southerners are also more chivalrous. Yeah. In the South, the men are more chivalrous. Like, I couldn't deal with them men over there from the Bay. But when Japanese women get married, they flip and dominate the household. Oh, that's very interesting. Japanese wives control the finances and give their husbands an allowance. I did not know that. Well, fellas, would y'all be okay with that? Will you be okay with coming and giving your wife your paycheck and her giving you an allowance? That's how they used to do it in the Black community back in the day. Y'all remember that movie Fences, when he had to come home and give Viola Davis his paycheck? They used to do it like that back in the day.
In Japan. In fact, it seems to come with some privileges that are more commensurate to the responsibilities that men generally take on. So let's recap. On the whole, Japanese women are slender and physically fit, feminine and demure, friendly and courteous, and respectful and appreciative. Not all Japanese women, I'm sure, but the vast majority of them, as far as I could tell. When I spoke with them, the feeling I got was that they felt lucky to be interacting with me, which is a total reversal of the attitude you generally encounter in the West. I've gone on a lot of dates in my day, and the prevailing vibes were either...
You know what? I see what's the problem. This is the problem with not just men. It's the problem with women too. Everybody wants to be in a situation where they are the prize. I can tell y'all exactly what the problem is. Everybody, if y'all are just not coming in, please hit the like button. People don't want to be in egalitarian relationships. And when I say people, I'm saying men and I'm saying women. What it sounds like, and I say this is true of a lot of women too. There are a lot of women who want to have the upper hand in a relationship dynamic, and they want to be the prize. And where the conflict is coming in is that a lot of these men that are still single want to be the prize too. So you have a whole bunch of people out here dating that everybody want to be the prize. Nobody wants to be equally respected and valued in a relationship. Nobody wants to be equally considerate of the other person in a relationship. Each side wants the other side to do what they tell them to do. Everybody wants to be controlling. And this is exactly why I am single. I know why I'm single. Because if we can't be equal in a relationship, that don't mean we have to do the exact same things in a relationship. But I would never be with a man who is this giddy over being the prize. Or like, no, I would never be I would never be in that situation. I would never want a man that I'm dating to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm just glad she gave me a chance. Because like you should feel good enough about yourself to where, yes, of course she would give me a chance. And like I would never get with a man and feel like I'm so happy he gave me a chance. This is all just foolishness to me, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. It might sound good to y'all. Y'all let me know, but this is foolish, and it's foolishness when I hear it from women too. I don't listen to that whole sprinkle stuff either. I tried to send a super chat, but it's glitching out. Is anyone else having that issue? Well, thank you. Thank you for the thought. Thank you for the thought. I have here, I'll show you if you want to. You don't have to. You do not have to. Don't feel obligated. But my Cash App is up there. But hey, Team Fatty. But I'll put that up there. Don't feel obligated, because if you wanted to send a Cash App, that's fine. Okay, let's listen.
A, that I should feel lucky that the woman was allowing me to buy her a drink, or B, that the woman needed to make sure I could give her what she wanted by conducting the date like a job interview. There's a lot of entitlement and narcissism here. It's all about her. On the other hand, my sense is that in Japan, women feel grateful for the opportunity to be there. Grateful.
He's not, y'all see the way he's framing that? Okay. Thank you so much. I saw it. I just got it. I appreciate that. Y'all see the way he's framing it? So he's saying like American women, they feel like it's all about her. But like the equal frame to that would be in Japanese culture, it's all about the man. And do y'all see how he makes it seem like that's a bad thing when it's all about the woman, but it's something virtuous when it's all about the man? And I would say both situations is some bullshit, in my opinion. Both of that, I don't want parts in any of that. Either one of those situations, somebody like me, I don't want no parts of it. Did I tell you? Thank you, Captain Hook. I got it. I saw it. Thank you. I really appreciate you. My Japanese ex-wife was cool until we got married. I would never marry a woman from Japan again. She is honest and fair-minded, but she wants to control the house. She comes to Colombia to visit. That's what I've heard about a lot of Asian women. Honestly, not just Japanese women. This July will be my 5th time going back to Colombia. And 9 months later, me and my Colombian lady are still together. Congratulations. And that's why I say, it's nothing wrong with going abroad, meeting somebody, and finding you a wife. So don't think if you're just now coming in here, this is not an anti-move abroad and find a wife show that we're having tonight. I'm really just analyzing the things that people are saying. But I do believe ultimately you should go where you can win, where you have the best odds. And that might not be the United States. Nah, it's all good. I actually like your content, but be sure to read the message. I think you would benefit a lot from it. The message that you sent, hold on. The message that you sent on the Cash App, I'm going to play this and then look at it.
For the opportunity to be considered as a potential partner. It was extremely refreshing, to say the least. Now, I'm not a fragile guy. I'm not a loser who can't get laid. I'm not poor or low status.
Sir, now, do y'all believe? Okay. I don't believe he's poor. He's telling the truth. He's telling the truth. about that. He's not poor. He's been doing this thing for a long time. Coach Greg Adams. Okay. I definitely will, Captain Hook. Let me screenshot that so I can look it up. I don't believe he's poor. I think he's telling the truth about that. Fragile, I don't know, because this man been on the internet complaining about women for a long time. So I don't know. Do y'all think he doesn't have a problem getting laid? Men in the comments. Men in the comments. Men and men only. Y'all answer this question. Y'all look at this man, and in the context of the United States, men, do y'all think that he can easily get laid? Okay, T-Mac, thank you. Because I want the men, because see, if I say it, I want the men to tell the truth. I don't like it when people get on the internet and are delusional when they talk. This man has been complaining about women on the internet for years now. This ain't my first time seeing him. And I'm not saying that he doesn't have valid complaints or that I don't agree with some of the things he's saying. But generally, men who don't have a problem getting laid aren't spending this much time on the internet complaining about women. Why would they? They're getting what they want. Maybe he laying the monsters. Maybe not for free. Yeah. Dude ain't, come on now. Backshot delivery. That's an interesting name. Come on now. I needed the dudes to come say it. I need not okay, Unc. Unc said the women in Colombia beg too much, but you got it. You got it. You got it. I think he pays for it. Yeah. If you pay for it, you ain't never gonna have no problem. Hell, in the United States, it's just they taxing over there. But in the United States, if you got the money, you can get laid as much as you want to. You don't got to travel for that. You just got to have the funds. I'm sure he got the money. People act like prostitution isn't alive and well and thriving in the United States, and it is. It definitely is. Getting laid by trans, not getting laid by trans. Probably, hey, but guess what? The dudes that look like this, they do be into lady boys. I'm not saying he is.
Or unattractive. I'm not a guy without options. I don't need to travel halfway around the world to have satisfying relationships with women. But I now understand why it's in men's best interest to seek out the most advantageous marketplaces. It's like, regardless of whether you're a novice or a master fisherman, if you want to catch a certain kind of fish, it makes sense to go where there are more of those fishes.
Students with ADHD save 10 hours studying.
I don't disagree with that. Hold on.
But no.
I don't disagree with that. Y'all ain't never gonna catch me on here telling American men to stay in America and date. Same way I wouldn't tell American women. I feel like you should go where it's advantageous. I think people need to not go into situations with rose-colored glasses or with delusions, but I think you should go where it's advantageous. Certainly. And I can see why somebody with his thought process would have a very hard time finding a woman in the West, especially considering the fact that he seems to be completely delusional about his dating process. The man got on here and told us he don't have no problem getting laid. And he really said that like we would all believe him, when not a soul believes him. So, you know what it seems like to me? A man like this would overvalue himself with the ladies. Like, he feels like he should be able to get better. Like, honestly and truly, I'm looking at this man and he's complaining about women in America being overweight. And I'm looking at him like, sir, you should be happy to get a fat chick. You should be very happy. One that love you. That like you for you. you should be happy. Who else do you think you're supposed to be with? Or like a slender chick. Let's say he get a slender chick. He should be happy to get a slender chick that looks just like him in the face. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? I'm pretty sure it's a lot of slender women in the United States that he could choose from. He just don't want to date them because they look like him in the face. So who's the real problem here? In Asia, women become very insecure after age 26 or 28. They start feeling like leftover women. I've seen that. They call them leftover women, T-Mac, and I just couldn't imagine feeling that way because, you know, people can call me delusional. I just might be, but I don't care. I feel like my life is like after I turn 30, first of all, I'm not scared to turn 40. Let me be very clear. I'm not one of those women who turn 30. I know a lot of women turn 30 and they cry, which is absolutely insane to me. I felt like when can y'all see me? Hold on, wrong camera. I was trying to turn my camera back on. Here we go. Okay. So I felt like, is it working? Y'all, I have so many issues with my camera today. I felt like when I turned 30, it was like a new lease in life. And y'all know how women get over the age of 30 and they start feeling pressure, like they feel like, oh, by now I'm going to pressure every man I date or get into a relationship with because by now I should have got married or by now I should have had kids. And I don't feel that pressure at all. Part of it is because I already had a kid from a long-term relationship when I was 23. I've already lived with the man. And I already know it ain't about what women romanticize it being. It was cool while it lasted, but it's not what women make it out to be. It's not nothing to rush into. So I spent most of my 20s in long-term, 2 long-term relationships. And like, I just don't feel the same societal pressure that a woman, y'all got to think, there are women out here who have never had a boyfriend. They've never lived with a man and they never had a kid and they hit 30 and they feel like time is running up and they have that fear of missing out. They feel like they're missing out on all these parts of life. And like for me, when I hit 30, it was like I get to reinvent myself. And so like when I hear men say things like, after you turn 35, you're gonna hit the wall because you're not gonna be valuable anymore because you're not gonna be able to have kids. Like that doesn't sound like an insult. I'm like, great. So like men will stop looking for me to do those. You know what I'm saying? Like men won't like expect that from me. Like the pressure will be off of me. Hey, travelers, travel over. Mariah, are you dating for a minute? I haven't dated in a long time, y'all. I'm be honest. I don't really be having a desire to. It's not that I wouldn't. It's that I don't like. It's not something I care about. Does that make sense? Somebody that say I've given. I don't think I've given up because I'm still open. If the right person comes along, I'm open to it. I just don't put any effort into it. I don't care. You know. Hold on, let me get to these comments. As a Canadian, the way I see American dating is as if you need to operate in order to be tolerated. You need to operate it. You got to explain that to me better. Mariahsincere, I agree. And also, same applies to Black men toward Black women in USA. Okay. What's up? What's up, G Torch? What's up? How are you? Good to see y'all. Thank y'all, everybody's still rocking out with me. I know it's late. Luckily, I don't have to get up too early tomorrow. I do got to get up early because I have a couple classes I have to teach, but it's not nothing I can't handle. I'm trying to click these comments. What's going on? Tatiana, you need to be in bed. Y'all see how when I get on live, my child, she want to act like she don't know the rules. As an American man, I was cool with 30 plus women in Japan. Both my ex-wife and ex-girlfriend lied about their age. Oh, you know what? A lot of foreign women do this. They lie about their age when they first met them. They have an age complex, even though they look good. That's so crazy. A lot of foreign women do this. A lot of foreign women will do this when they come to the United States too. And like American women, we just don't have that same mentality. Like you finna take this and get what you get back. You like it or you don't. I think you know what it is? And it might be different in their culture. But when I started talking to men, y'all know what made me more comfortable with aging? I spent a lot of time in my 20s, because y'all know I worked in a club, talking to men and listening to their perspective and experiences with women over 40. And y'all would be surprised how many men prefer older women. And I'm not like talking about these YNs, these boys in their 20s. I'm talking about men that are like full grown, men in their 30s that prefer dealing with older women. So I never really cared about that rhetoric. Like I never cared. And even then, we gotta age. So what? Men aren't gonna want you because you get older. You gonna roll over and die? You gonna roll over and die? What you gonna do? What do you need? Oh, thank you. That's so sweet of you. Okay.
High-value men who have lots of sexual opportunity in the West will still travel to other places where they can get more of what they want more easily. That's not pathetic. That's rational and efficient. Even millionaires don't like paying more than they need to, even though they could afford to do so. And Western women are extremely expensive. Men here generally have to pay more for less.
Do y'all think Melania Trump, she's from the East, she's Slavic, or she Russian? One of the two. Or she Ukrainian. She's one of those. Now, y'all see she got expensive taste. Do y'all think that Donald Trump went and got Melania because she was cheaper or because that's just his taste? He liked those model-looking women from over there, Eastern European women. Because I hear a lot of men always talking about what millionaire men like, and they're not millionaires. So how do you know? How do you know? Because like the men that I see, the women that I see millionaire men get with have millionaire tastes. They out here spending money. They're out here spending money. They're in Gucci and gold. She's from Slovenia. Okay, I knew she's from one of those places. They're in Gucci and gold. No, what it is millionaire men just go get what they like. They get what they like. They don't care where she's from. They get where they go. They can go get their type. The money is a non-factor. It's not about getting more bang for your buck. The money is a non-factor at that point. Colombian men don't really date foreign women. They prefer their own. I mean, all the American women that I know down here that date, they got a boyfriend from here. So they don't have no problems. The problems are cultural. You know what they tell me? These men down here are toxic. They're toxic. That's the thing that the women down here deal with, not getting a date or not getting a men to show interest. Y'all need to get some meta glasses. I kid you not. I swear, like I'm not even boosting it. When I walk out of my door here, the men is breaking their necks. I never walk down the street here and not get attention. The young ones, the old ones, everything in between. The men are checking, okay? So I don't think it's a matter of they don't like American women. I think it just kind of depends on the woman. It depends on how she looks to them. Another thing I noticed here, Colombian men like Black women, or they like women that are darker than them. Like I don't know if it's like a fetish, but they get excited. They be like, "Que negra," like they like Black women over here.
Relative to other marketplaces. So I'm much more sympathetic to this movement after spending a month abroad.
Because the truth be told, the problem with dating and finding a wife in America is just the toxic feminism that goes on here. Western women have been radicalized by feminists. These men are walking away and letting these women die alone. But I appreciate this man taking a second to really break it down and tell the truth and bringing a little clarification
What is
to
that
the
saying
issue.
though? Die alone. I don't understand why that's a talking point. Because like most of the time, the man is gonna die before the woman anyway. I like when men say that. I hope, do y'all know that? Do y'all know most of the time you gonna go out before the woman does anyway, and she gonna end up taking care of you in your later years. And 9 times out of 10, you're gonna die before your wife. So why is that a talking point? Help me understand, man. Why is die alone? I know it sounds like a catchy, like one-liner. It sounds like it's supposed to sting, but the reality of the matter is most women are going to bury their husbands. And then most women, when they get sick or they get cancer, y'all do. I'm not saying this out of anger or hatred or none of that. It's just the reality. Most women, if they get sick enough to where it's going to lead to death, their husband is going to leave them anyway. Before she even died, the husband leaving. He cheating. He got somebody else. He gone. He out of there. So like, what is this talking point? I'm trying to, y'all help me understand. I want to come to an understanding. Why do men feel like that is such, men like this feel like that is such a, like, why do they try to use that as a scare tactic when it doesn't even make sense? It's not the reality of life. I'm a 6-figure earner and I most definitely date what I like. However, I do have some nice times with women my age and older. I enjoy how they put themselves together and live in a confident. Yeah, this is G-Source. This is what I heard about a lot of men that prefer older women. And when I tell you, when I say older women, I'm talking about men that prefer significantly older women. Y'all, my ex-boyfriend's mother is almost 70. And I promise y'all, every single man in this chat, if y'all seen her, y'all will take her down. If y'all seen her and she let you, you will take her down. I'm not gassing it. Body banging. Booty. Slim waist. Booty. No surgery. Like, this is a gift. This woman hit the genetic lottery. Tatas. Nice skin. Great personality. Full of life. She be out. She's married now. But her and her man be out on the weekend more than young people be out on the weekend. Be dressed down. Energy for days. Skin, nice. Does she look like an older woman? Yes, but she not looking 70. She not looking 70. It's not giving 70. And when I tell you, like, my ex-boyfriend's friends, it's like he fell out with some of his friends because they trying to holler at his mama. When a man dates a woman in Colombia, he dates her whole family in a manner of speaking. Can't separate the two. Yeah, that's true. So marriage is the leading cause of divorce. Well, I don't think anybody could argue with that. Been with my novia for 4 years. The suegra has a lot of influence. Sometimes I take them both on dates. Do you like that dynamic? I'm for sure not hollering. I'm just going to ask her. Now you hollering. You hollering and you gonna try to take her. You gonna try to take her down. For sure. You see this 70-year-old. Mariah, what is the minimum age man you okay with dating? And what age range do you prefer? Okay, so I'm 32. I couldn't do no younger than 27 at this age. So my thing with me, I don't like to go more than 5 years down, and I don't like to go more than 5 years up. Now, I will allow for a year. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm 30. If I met somebody that was like, let's say, if I met somebody that was like 39, but they were really cool and I could see myself with them long term, of course, I wouldn't be so rigid about that rule. I am going to be more rigid when it comes to dating younger. Like, I definitely would never date anybody under 25 at this age. 25 is like, wow to me. but I definitely wouldn't do under 25 just because I remember there was such a huge mental jump. Like where I am now at 32 is significantly different than where I was at 35. I think after 30, age starts mattering a lot less, but like, I could not do a 20 or like what? I had a guy that was 26 try to talk to me not too long ago here, and he was an American man, and he was he's gonna be a good guy for somebody that's his age that don't have no kids, but he wanted to date me. He was so nice. He was a gentleman, all of that. Has a good job here, but I could not. It was for me. It was just too young. And then I'm thinking like, I think about other people like he's that young and he doesn't have any kids. I'm 32 with a kid. He think he want this. He not really ready for all this, even though he think he want it. So I did him a favor as far as I'm concerned. When I say he was just a nice, gentlemanly guy, good conversation, very chivalrous, from the South, head on straight, for being that young, a really good place in his career. Really good place in his career. Doing better than the average male his age in the United States. But I would not feel right. I wanted to give him an opportunity to go find somebody more his age with no kid. Now, if a dude was my age or older and he didn't have a kid, I would date him because, again, that maturity level or that life experience still kind of matches more. But I just wouldn't have felt right. He had a nice sense of style. I'll put it to you this way. He's not going to have any problem dating down here. He's not going to have any problem getting attention from ladies. And I don't think he had any problem when he was living in the United States. He's tall. Colombian women have that Don culture. I get attention from more women in that 20s than 35 plus. I'm 53. They don't have a big age bias here in Colombia. You know what? A lot of men have told me that. Speaking. I think it's important to be ethical. So if you're an older person and you see that you have some things going on in your life that younger person, though they think they might be ready for, and they understand it, because you've already been there and you've already crossed those bridges, that they are not truly prepared. I think it's important to be ethical and lead them where they at and go find somebody more on your level, more on your speed. My current Noya actually asked to date me when I broke up with my ex. I did not think she was serious because of the age gap, but her family was encouraging of it. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. I think we're almost done with this video.
Because at the beginning of his video, he was honest about the fact that he was looking at these men like something was wrong with them. They was lames, they was corny or whatever. They couldn't get no women, or they were just low value men. But I'm glad a professional, licensed psychiatrist, decided to break it down from a man's point of view.
But I mean, y'all also gotta understand too, like, I'm not gonna say that. What? I'll say this. Think about the messenger. A lot of these corny dudes, this is nothing new. They go to Asia and they get them a wife. A lot of these white corny men who don't really have good luck with white American women, they go to Asia and they get them a wife. And these women are going to worship the ground that they walk on because they worship whiteness in Asia. That is the standard. Now, I'm not saying y'all black men can't go over there and get, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying the white man is at the top of the hierarchy. So yeah, he probably did get treated the best he's ever going to get treated in life. And I think I think a man like him should go to Asia to find a wife. That's his market. A man that looks like Brad Pitt don't have to do that, nor do he want to. He want to stay in America and get him an Angelina Jolie or a Tommy Loren or what's that girl's name? Or a Jennifer Aniston or one of these fine white women over here that he can relate to. Because that's another thing a lot of these men don't talk. Well, they do talk about it. They do get on. I've seen plenty of men come on here and talk about how the cultural difference. You might like somebody's culture and at the same time not be compatible with their culture. So you can go to a country and you can observe and like how they do things. But then when it comes for you to fulfill your end of the bargain in that culture, you might not like that. So for example, you might go to the country and you might like that the women cook and clean and that, you know, you get put above everybody else in the household. But then you might not want to fulfill your part of that, which is that you're taking care of her and her entire family. See, you might have came into it like, I'm cool just as long as we have that Western mindset and you're doing all this for me and I only take care of you. But that's not how that goes. It's not how that works, boo. So you got to take the good and the bad. You can't cherry pick. You get what I'm trying to say? So you might like a culture, but what you're willing to do might not be compatible. Now, if you're willing to do, then go ahead. Fair skin is the standard. There it is. Here too. With the women, here too, fair skin is the standard. The men don't really care as much as the women about fair skin. With women, the fair skin, it's not that they won't date people that are of darker skin. The fair skin is the standard. I be in Asia loving it because I love the food, culture, weather, and how I get to live. October, February, I'll be back out there. I know that's right. Companionship is however you want it. We need that discussion live between the smartest two Colombian expats we know that are both. I know what you're trying to get me to do. Absolutely not. That person don't even exist in my world no more, to be honest. I've said that before. He can come on here and say whatever you want to say. I ain't gonna never know because I don't even care to go look.
Look like this guy's going to be taking a trip back to Japan, but don't stop at Japan, my brother. I'm sure you're going to go over there and check out Thailand. You're going to go check out Vietnam, Cambodia, all those countries. Bali.
Now, let me tell y'all, for those of y'all who don't know, I used to go to the Buddhist temple and would still go back. If I was in Dallas, I'm a Christian. I love Jesus, but in terms of where I prefer to go on Sundays, I love to go to the Buddhist temple. I don't like to go to Christian church. I know that sounds weird, but I don't. And I like to practice a lot of those teachings of Buddha. And then a lot of times they'll bring up, you know, Jesus and stuff like that. But anyway, I love the Buddhist temple. So I used to go to a Thai Buddhist temple, and I like Thai Buddhism. I like Theravada Buddhism because you're not in there worshiping deities or God, right? This is more just about trying to live your life the way the Buddha lived, but Buddha's not a God. But anyway, I don't want to get into that. And these Thai women used to be in there putting me up on game. Every Sunday morning, we would go down there to the underneath the main temple. We would have a potluck. Everybody bring something to eat. And these women would talk to me about their marriages, the men they date, all of that. And let me tell you, them Thai women, they would all have Louis Vuitton bags, Gucci product. And they'd always be pulling hundreds out, like nothing but blue faces. Okay. And they would all of them had a white husband. All of them had a white husband. And a lot of them, they was on their second and third husband. And they would talk to me about all the property that they had accumulated and acquired through their marriages. Like, they would put me up on so much game. Or they would talk to me about their heartbreaks and how they learned from their heartbreaks and how they kind of like became more about the money after that. But no, I'm sipping, it's like a coconut tea with something else. I don't know. I think it's a relaxation tea. My daughter made this for me when she came in here. I have to agree to disagree with fair skin standard when it comes to Colombian women. That's the standard. In general, it's the standard. It's the standard. I asked Afro-Colombians about that, and they tell me that they love their no. With Afro-Colombian women, Afro-Colombian women and Venezuelan women, you're more likely to find that they say they prefer morenos. But like somewhere here, like Paisa land, white man is the standard. White is the standard. White is the standard. With Asian women, white is the standard. The food is so fresh. Yeah, it is. Drop some knowledge. Yeah. Them old Thai ladies used to put me up on game. They know how to work their number with the white guys well, from what they told me, but they like brothers because they get what they see on TV. And it's the fair skin for sure and hair. Okay. I would have to disagree with that. He said plenty to disrespect me, but even then, it's like he's not really on my level. To be intellectually, we're not in the same space. To be creating the content that he's creating, we're not in the same space. We're just not. It's not even on par. It's not in alignment. It's simply not in alignment. Like, for example, y'all see on my channel, I'm a woman, but I don't hate men. Matter of fact, over 90% of my audience is male, and it's been male on YouTube. And I'm not trying to make it male because I'm me. I give my honest opinion. I'm not pandering to y'all. But anybody that's operating in good faith knows that I don't come on here to hate men. I'm coming from my perspective as a woman, and then we can discuss things and y'all can give y'all different opinion. I don't like going on people's channel whose whole, like, to me, I find it amazing that he would call me a grifter. And it's like, most of what he has to say about women is negative, and it's all to pander to the lowest vibration. It's all to that. And that's not what my content is about. We discuss people like real people over here. We have real conversations. We give real perspectives. We disagree respectfully over here. We see people as human beings over here, not people to just try to like dunk on to get likes and money. I appreciate the donations when they come, but like I'm very responsible in how I deliver my content over here. It's not the same. It's not the same. I respect your opinion on the matter. I just have a different opinion. What are you talking about? About light skin being the standard? Are you saying about light skin being the standard here or light skin being the standard in Asia? I'm not even gonna say light skin, white. White is the standard. Blancamiento is a real thing. No, Mariah, you be cool, G. You always positive but very informative. I know you have a sense of intent. Yeah, like I have a sense of responsibility. I'm not gonna come on here and like go back and forth. And I already gave him too much time. And I'm the person, I'm not gonna, it's certain things I'm not about to put up with for too long. I don't like all that foolishness, to be honest. It's certain things I'm not gonna entertain for that long. I don't like foolishness. Yeah, light skin being standard in Colombia for Colombian women's preference. Okay. You go, girl, Martin voice. Yeah. But anyways, y'all, it's getting late. I gotta get up in a little bit. I have some classes I have to get up and teach. But I will come on here tomorrow, probably earlier, around 7 o'clock. Y'all look out for me. What do y'all want to talk about tomorrow? Before I leave, first of all, if you haven't hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Drop the topic for tomorrow. Now, it needs to be travel related. It needs to be travel or experience and culture abroad related. But drop some suggestions. Or how about we do this? Don't leave yet, y'all. Now, I'm going to give y'all a couple minutes. I put the link in the chat. Whoever wants to come up here and give a perspective or your perspective or a different perspective on anything that I've said tonight, I yield the floor. So I put the link in the chat. If you don't have to, if you're somebody that's been interacting in the chat, I know who you are, you don't have to cam up. But I put the link in the chat. So the link is in the chat. Also, if you have a topic or something you would like for me to discuss before I go. Okay, bet. I don't follow no one, but I'm about to follow you on my IG. Okay, yeah, I'll follow you back. Is it the same name on IG? It's Mariahsincere on Instagram. Okay, bet. Tomorrow we want, I don't want it that bad. I don't need it that bad. No. That's why people have to learn not to burn bridges. I don't want it. He need it. He want it. That's why he be on here acting like that. But I'm gonna choose my integrity on my channel every time. No. Don't worry about it, G Torch. Okay, guys, ain't nobody coming on here. Y'all ain't giving me no topics. Just inbox it to me if y'all follow me on IG. If you can think of something. If not, I'll think of something. And I'll see y'all tomorrow night. Y'all be blessed.